What do you guys give me if I kill that bird? Barbara, that's a bald eagle. Get away, baldy! Yeah!
Oh, well. Good evening, and good evening. This is The Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GubsRadio.com, live here at the biggest and the baddest comedy club in all of Long Island, Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We are live on Facebook and live on YouTube. Give us a call here in the studio. The phone number, 516-465-3990. Give us a call throughout the night and hang out with us. Talk to our guests, ask questions, and also for your chance to win prizes, gifts, and more. 516-465-3990 right there at the bottom of the screen. Tonight we have a very, very special guest for you, but before we get to that, as our listeners know, we have to not get paid. So, we're going to start with Rosie's Draft Solutions. Steve, take it away, sir.
They actually do pay.
Well,
and
no, I got it. Listen, it's all about the illusion. It's all about the illusion that we are not some
masquerade.
High stakes.
It's a
podcast.
masquerade.
Listen, Nick and Rosie's is just one of our good friends that we talked to this past week. It was a good time.
It was wonderful to have him on over at
AC Beer Fest. Yeah,
over at Cast Fest. It was good to see him.
It was good to see him. We had a lot of fun with him too.
Yeah.
How many times do you think he got high fives or spanks?
I'm hoping a lot.
Yeah,
because that means everybody listens.
Well, we're going to see what the hell people are talking about when you read for Rosie's Draft Solutions.
Well, Rosie's Draft Solutions is a Long Island family-owned business that provides professional draft beer system services, line cleanings and maintenance, draft beer line system installs, event dispensing solutions, and more. They are passionate about craft beer and making sure it has the same quality as when it left the brewery, and that is only done by making sure those draft system lines are perfectly
clean and tight.
Rosie services bars, restaurants, halls, events, and all other beverage establishments, including home kegerator installs across Long Island and Westchester. You can reach them at rosiesdraftsolutions@gmail.com or call them at 631-219-2075, Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mention the Wort, and you might get a Tahitian back rub.
Ooh, that's nice. Those hot rocks.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Oh,
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Call already?
No, is it? Maybe. Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Somebody wants to.
Whoever's on the line, just hold on 1 second. Whoever's on the line, hold on a second. We got to get through our sponsors tonight. All right, so we also today sponsored by Beer Maker.
Beer Maker, your at-home all-grain countertop brewing system. Do you want to make beer? Because all that craft beer is just too delicious, so you need to make some of your own.
It's too delicious.
It's too delicious, and you want to try your hand? Must be easy, right?
Yeah.
Beer Maker.
Easy.
They have a bunch of different recipes: hazy IPAs, West Coast IPAs, Baltic porters, Mexican lagers, ambers, Hefeweizens, all sorts of kits available.
I got a double IPA at home ready to go. Not like brewed. I just mean I have the grain.
A double batch.
No,
you can't double batch in the brew.
No. Well, that'd be cool if you could.
It would be.
That'd be pretty cool.
Pair two together.
Yeah.
Beer Maker.
You daisy chain two together. Via USB. You guys do the math on how that's going to work.
Yep, it's not. App available for iOS and Android. Make beer at home in about 10 days.
Ooh, only 10.
Only 10, and brew right into your own bag and the dispensing station and all sorts of good stuff. Mention promo code The Wort.
The Wort 2022, by the way. We had a change. It's The Wort 2022. I'll repost that up on our Instagram because we had a 2021 for like the last 6 months, 8 months.
It is in fact 2022.
Yes, now it's 2022. So go over to Brewbag. Go over to Beer Maker. I know Brewbag's next.
Beermaker.com.
I'm already on to the next thing.
BERNKR.
And also go to our link tree, and you'll get a link right to Beer Maker's website. We can type in your promo code. Tonight we're also sponsored by Brewbag for your beer pong cornhole. We played some of that over at the Blue Point Cask Fest. Had some people show some interest, so it's good to see a lot of the breweries in New York State extending themselves and getting a Brewbag, possibly even with their own beautiful laminated logo on it.
I see also that Brewbag is setting up tournaments
Across New York State
with all the different breweries across New York.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll do like a dart league, but for Brewbag.
Yes.
Go to brewbag.com or go over to our Instagram, and in our bio there's a click, you think, for Linktree, and then there's another button there. It's a lot of clicking, but I'm sure with your thumb you guys are
Clickety-click.
You guys are
Clickety-clack.
yeah. Who's that? Annie West? I don't know. Who's the
Annie Oakley.
Annie Oakley, thank
that
you.
who you're talking
I know it's
about?
Annie Old West. Yeah, Annie
Wow,
Oakley. I don't know.
Annie Old West.
The Annie Old West. The Old
That's
West.
the,
Annie.
That's her
Yeah.
sister-in-law.
Oh,
Well, she's friends with
twice removed.
she's friends with Dave Cold Beer and Soda.
Oh, jeez.
It's a Patchy douchebag.
So, we saw Dave at Cast Fest. That was a good time.
Of course
he did.
So, yeah, thank you for Brewbag for helping us out throughout this time. And go over to brewbag.com, type in promo code TheWart, and receive your 10% off your Brewbag. We're finally sponsored tonight by Brewers Hardware. For your small batch or large capacity needs, go to Brewers Hardware. A lot of the breweries that we know and love have been using Brewers Hardware for so long. Give them a shot. And thanks to them, we are able to give gifts back to our brewery guests.
Swag bags.
People that we have here in the studio. Yes, a little swag bag courtesy of Brewers Hardware. So thank them for their long-term sponsorship and everything that they do as well. Quick shout-outs to Hopscotch Bottle Shop. I keep asking VintageBeerShirtClub.com for the renewal of their advertisements. He has not gotten back to me, but they came through twice over the course of time, so we'll still give them. Go to VintageBeerShirtClub.com for your vintage beer shirts. It's a monthly subscription to your favorite vintage beer, let's say, logos, and they get printed on a shirt, and they get sent to you once a month, along with some other things. It's
You
very
know what
nice.
you should do?
What's that?
You should get Mike Kent to give them a call. Straighten them the fuck out.
They can't be taking those logos without some proper permission. Those sons of bitches. So go to VintageBeerShirtClub.com, type in promo code TheWart. I hope that thing still works. I haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he's still in business. But thanks to them. Really quick, we got somebody on the phone. This is The Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GhostRadio.com. Who do we got?
Hello, how you guys doing?
Hello.
Good evening.
Who is this?
Come on, guys, know who this is?
No, I don't. Who is this?
Somebody you guys all know from Knockin' Dead, Comedy Show Radio.
Oh.
It's Dennis.
No, it's not Dennis. No, we got the name wrong.
Hold on. There's more? Hold on.
Yeah,
You haven't
same
called
one.
this show in a very
Nope.
long time. Can I tell you that?
No, it's been a long time since Knockin' Dead.
When's the last time you called Knock 'em Dead?
I was there to call. I was there last year, actually, for my birthday.
Okay. And then I haven't
You
heard
know
from you since.
Do you know who I am?
I can't put my finger on your name because you've escaped my memories for so long.
Well,
Kenny?
I can say this.
No.
I'm a favorite person on the Gubs Comedy Club Radio.
I can't. I'm trying to figure out the voice too.
Well, tell me, because I haven't been on the show in a few turns here.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory.
You guys give up?
Yeah, I give up. I gave up a long time
and then
ago.
he turns it.
DJ D-Love.
Oh, D-Love.
Oh, that's it.
It wasn't. I knew it was a D. I was thinking Dennis for some reason, but no. What's up, D? What's going on?
No, much I got been.
How'd you know we were up? You saw it on the Facebook?
You know, I saw it on YouTube, actually.
Oh, the YouTube. So you got to go to Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. We are live on their channel, both on YouTube and on Facebook. So that makes sense, D. How's everything? All right?
Everything's pretty good, actually, guys. I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome,
So,
man.
I got a question for you. When
Yeah,
is
good.
Knockin' Dead coming back?
Oh, they're back, dude. You're just missing them.
When?
They've been back. What are you talking? They never left. Hold on. Time out. D. They switch platforms, dude. We're all going to be switching platforms soon. But they're test piloting streaming to Twitch every day.
Oh, wow, crazy. Switch? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so as people may know and our audience may know, Twitch is almost pretty much primarily gamers, right?
Is that why they got these chairs?
No. Those chairs are back in the day. But really, what we're trying to do is trying to break into a new platform as being one of the first doing live radio shows into the Twitch platform. So we're only a handful of live radio shows that are doing it. Knock 'em Dead is leading the charge.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, you could tell somebody.
I will. I'll send him your love, sir.
No, I think you could tell Tony Sal, say hello, will you?
I will.
We will. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Like I said, be careful. Oh, well, you know, guys, be careful with it because remember how I told you there's a guy. There's an app on there called Online Walkie Talkie Pro app. They're
Okay.
supposed to call you guys with information.
All right.
Do not give them my information because they don't know. They don't need to know.
No. We wouldn't do that.
Get private internet access, VPN. That's the best way to do that, so no one can steal your shit.
You just told Tony Sal, say hello.
All right, buddy.
Will do.
I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.
Take care.
Suckers.
This guy.
Okay.
I haven't heard DJ
And we're
D Love
back.
since what, 3 years ago?
Easily.
He has not called the show at least 3 years ago.
No, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
I recognize the voice right away.
So for our audience that doesn't know who DJ D Love is, DJ D Love calls into every Gubs Comedy Club podcast that was on the platform for years, and he was a big part of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, calling in and answering questions and started trivia nights and stuff like that. And then he started calling our show when we started doing shows early on. He lasted a couple of years just calling in, saying hello, which was very nice of him. He got married. He's doing all sorts of different things all over the place, man. He's crazy.
So Vintage
Beer Shirt Club.
They got wahooed by Ian.
Wahooed?
Meaning they lost like their homes and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. So anybody that ordered
for a second I thought
somebody
like,
that
Ian?
ordered shirts.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weeks because
I
they've
see.
lost
Hurricane Ian.
They lost their property and
my
all
God.
their.
Oh my God! All right, sorry,
So
guys.
maybe not the time they hit.
So if there's a GoFundMe for VintageBeerShirtClub.com, if you Google search that and it goes to a GoFundMe page, now you know why. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at Governor's Comedy Club, 516-465-3990 in studio. We have News Channel 12 guest superstar himself today, which you didn't realize we saw it today. We have Rory from Kid Squid Brewing Company. What's going on?
How's it going, Mike? Pete?
Thanks a lot, man.
Pete.
Thanks for coming in.
Good evening.
It is quite the journey for you to come out to these Nassau County parts.
It is.
Let's go way back to the beginning. We read some of the bios and all that stuff. Let's give the audience something that they possibly don't know. Give us a little bit of history of how you got into brewing and take us up until kind of where you establish yourself as the primary, let's say, South Fork at this point, right? One of the only ones in South Fork brewery here on Long Island.
So I was homebrewing just like everyone else since.
What? Who starts like that?
Since
That's not the way to do it. That's not.
It's
what I
not
would call
100% though. Not everybody does start that way.
I was living on Shelter Island and had a newborn son, and
Mazel tov.
thank you. And it was the winter time. This is 2013.
He said,
and,
"I need to get drunk."
and there wasn't a lot of stuff to do.
There you go.
So I
They are a reason to
dusted
drink.
off the homebrew kit that had been given to me. I mean, I've heard this story so many times, and it's my story too. And and started brewing and got hooked. Was homebrewing then with some friends and took it to almost a bootleg level until I realized that it's a felony to produce alcohol
over a certain amount. He's probably he was doing like
And selling it, right? That's
well, it's the selling is also, but it's distributing it. You might as well sell it. It's all the same. Anyway,
You're gonna pay for your lawyer fees if you can sell it.
so you know,
Because that's eventually gonna happen.
So technically, we weren't bootlegging, and we did nothing illegal.
close enough.
And
Were you on a Discovery Channel reality show?
yeah, with my face obscured and voice altered. And when the pandemic hit, I did an experiential marketing company in the city and mostly did large scale public events outdoors. So when the pandemic hit, everything stopped and started brewing more and then had this opportunity to take over the railroad station building in Sag Harbor.
Yeah, so I saw that, and and as I read about that and heard about that, that was interesting. The railroad station, was that then like a county building? How was the ownership of that transferred over to a private business?
So it was actually had been abandoned as an official government building.
So did they let go of the actual ownership?
It's actually really cool. Like I didn't know until we we got in there that it wasn't its original location. It was actually closer in Sag Harbor. There's a wharf and a main street.
Yeah.
And our tasting room is set off the main street in the back, but that railroad building used to be near the wharf where the tracks used to end.
Okay.
And the tracks were part of the Long Island Railroad. They had split off from Bridgehampton and went north to the wharf at Sag Harbor, but that had all been dismantled by World War II. There wasn't a train station or tracks.
Huh.
And so a couple of buildings, I think, were dismantled, and the building that Kid Squid is in now was moved about, I want to say, 500 feet to the south to its location now.
Now, you didn't move that.
No, I did not move it.
Yeah.
No, I did not move it. It was there's a nursery right next to us, and it was all part of the same property. And that used to be the retail store for that garden center.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
It wasn't easy. It's just pulling the carpet and just inching it down little by
Little by little.
I'm pretty sure that's how they did it.
Yeah.
You get a tow kit for your Prius.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. So, I mean, as a home brewer stuck in COVID, what were some of the things you were putting together? What were some of the recipes experimenting with? And how many of those have made it to the kind of current lineup or are looking to be, brought to the full forefront of what you want to do?
Well, starting the home brewing really, especially out in Shelter Island back then, the idea was to recreate beers that I could get in the city readily, but really couldn't.
Like
get
what?
out
What's
east.
your inspiration in there?
I mean, there's tons of them, but tried to recreate like some of the hazy IPAs. That
Okay, so
at that point we really couldn't. At that point we
Well, they
couldn't
have to
get
back,
out east, and then Greenport started putting out its OG series, and that was just like wow.
Boom.
And Montauk started pulling out their wave chasers, stuff like that. So
Joey?
it's great.
No, it's my favorite.
But as we're homebrewing, these products were actually becoming available, and so at that point, then it was just okay, add ours to the list.
Yeah.
One thing that we had been doing since the homebrewing days was brewing on the full moons or releasing on the full moons, and so we've continued that.
What was the significance of that? Just because of the timing of it?
Yeah, it was actual total coincidence. The first beer that we had finished the brew day and walked out of the garage, and the full moon was rising. As simple as that.
Well, it was just a full moon like a week ago or a couple
Blood
days
moon.
ago? Blood moon?
And it was a blood moon.
I killed a bunch of prostitutes. I mean, I was outside hanging out that day.
It's like you should try brewing on a full moon.
Trust me, I think what I'm doing is a lot better.
The FBI tends to, turn a blind eye to the brewing.
Let's see, which one do you choose?
I'll take the brewing ticket, please. I'll take that one.
Yes, we released Frosty Moon actually on this past full moon. Another name is Beaver Moon. We've used that in the past.
Is that a thing? Is there such a moon called Beaver Moon?
Yeah.
What? Now I obviously need to know. What is a beaver moon?
A beaver moon. Well, it's a Native
If he
American
comes out
term.
with a punchline, I'm gonna shit my pants.
You set him up. You guys talked in the parking lot before you walked in here.
Ask him where the beaver moon is.
We had last year. We had one called the socially distanced beaver moon. It was a beaver coming out of the moon, kind of like stay away from me. But we changed it to Frosty Moon. It's a bit more accessible as a name, a bit more universal. But the beaver moon originally, it's the animal, the beaver, and it's a Native American term. I believe it's Algonquin. I'm not positive.
Okay.
But the full moons all have different names. There's a number you can choose from. Like we're not using worm moon, and I believe it's March, because that would sound disgusting on beer. Beaver Moon has other connotations. It's probably not best
Sure does.
now that we're
Tequila shots.
professional.
Worm in the.
There's like there's the Celtic names, the old Farmer's Almanac names, and the Native American names. That's basically
That's
it.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a good kind of like repertoire to get into, and then you have like series that you can build out of that and really experiment with those. A lot of the stuff that you're putting out now, was that stuff early on that you kind of developed and then brought here, or was that brand new stuff, new facility, trying out new things? Like what's the percentages of old versus new?
You know what, though? I wonder how they taste.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm kind of wondering. How they might taste. Oh, wait, you have actually have
He
some?
happens to have.
He actually happens to have some.
Son of a bitch.
Man, I'm glad I asked. I didn't know.
No, we do that every time. It's one of our bits, just so you know. I've been watching.
Loggers.
Yes, lagers for days.
Yes.
I was figuring we start with something light.
Light, tasty, more like it. We have been, finding, the newer breweries that are starting to come up through the ranks are experimenting with stuff that they've had before on the bigger facilities and trying that out. Is this particular lager, and we'll get into more of the details a little later, has this been one of the ones that kind of have traveled through the processes?
No, I mean,
no.
The base lager, no,
Mike.
it's not actually. Is the base lager, yes. We added 10% corn to it.
Love that sweetness.
Yep, and it's sweet, but it's crisp.
Yeah.
And for this one, the brand, if you look at the can, and if you know Sag Harbor, that's
the
an
old
iconic
school
Sag
cinema.
Harbor. That's correct.
Yeah.
And 10% of the profits go back to the not-for-profit that rebuilt the cinema after it burnt down in 2016.
Now, what's the active process right now? Are they redesigning, they demoing, rebuilding?
They're up.
Yeah, they're up.
They're up.
That's
Yeah, they opened during the pandemic.
Oh, they did?
And,
oh, my God.
Again, it's run by a
time.
not-for-profit.
Yeah.
And so we're just glad it's an institution of Sag Harbor. So
Yeah,
before it was what it is now, I mean, it was just an iconic Sag Harbor thing.
Well, let's talk about Sag Harbor.
Yeah.
Because we know Keith Hernandez lives there. Has he been to the brewery?
No.
Son of a
Not that I
bitch,
know-
Keith.
Not that I know of.
How far are you from Town Line Barbecue? That's all I know about for Sag Harbor.
Town Line's a great day. It's we're a little further than I'd like to be. Town Line's an amazing establishment. We're about 10 minutes drive.
I had to go out to Sag Harbor for work one time, and I actually rescheduled the client to a day that Town Line was open. If I'm going out there, I'm going to make this worth my while.
Smart.
Fuck you. I'm going to get some goddamn ribs.
That's smart.
You've been losing a little weight, and you still are just focused on that.
Dude, have you been to Town Line Barbecue?
I have not. I've been to Dinosaur Barbecue in Syracuse, but I've not been to Town Line. There are some good barbecue places.
Town Line's amazing.
Yeah, all right, I'll give it a try.
It really is something else.
Well, we actually developed a brand new. We were talking to Chris from Motion. We developed a brand new scent for men called Burnt Ends. That's what we're gonna have. It's gonna be like a spray, like Axe body spray,
Axe, but it smells
but it's
like
gonna
burnt
smell like
ends.
burnt ends. Yeah. I love barbecue and I love the smell of it, but I think
yeah.
just having that like kind of crispy, that woodsy feel with a little bit of sweetness of the barbecue sauce and then a nice lager with it. I think, what woman could resist such a...
Most that I've met.
It's the ones that can't resist. That's
That's because when you go next to them, you have still the barbecue sauce all over your face
that what it
and beard, forehead.
Comes with a ketchup packet of barbecue sauce. You rub on your beard a little bit. How did I smell that on you? Oh, okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
So tell me about the town. For those those people, our audience members who are not familiar with it, this is it's not as small as people think. They think it's a small, quaint town. It's actually fairly large if you look at the map, but it covers a wide range of areas. Give us a little breakdown of the town itself.
Sure. It's a village, and the village sits...
I call it a town, but I call me a town.
The reason I'm correcting there is because it sits on the border of two townships, East Hampton and Southampton. It's actually straddles both. So part of the village is in East Hampton, part of it's in Southampton town. And actually Town Line, if you go further south, is on that division line.
That makes sense. I did not know that.
Now you know.
I just like that he used the word straddle.
Yeah.
It goes back to the Beaver Moon and all that.
So as a village, it has a deep water port and was a whaling town. It was also the first port of entry for the United States.
Really?
Yeah, it had the first customs
Did not
house.
know that.
Yeah.
Where was that located? Like in the town?
Still there.
Really?
Yeah, it's still there.
That's on the sound side, correct? Or it's on the...
No. It's this is all on the South Fork, so we're on the bay side of the South Fork.
That's what I'm saying.
Not
the sound. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
The
Right.
What's not the
Peconic Bay.
Peconic Bay, yeah. I don't
And
know.
Gardner's Bay.
I meant the bay. I knew the bay. It wasn't the sound. Stupid. It was on the North Shore of the South Fork.
Anyway,
I know. My fourth grade, regional.
I think you need to drink some more.
Yeah.
My geography is just not with me today.
So
I don't have lines.
Neither is
either.
your oceanography.
Oceanography. It's the bay, sir. I'll get you on that one.
So after whaling died off, it was still small industry there.
Yeah.
Including a watch case factory, which is now since converted into really high-end nice condos.
I thought you were going to say my second location. I'm opening up.
Just being converted, right. And I don't know if this is... I know it was an Edison. I don't know if it's Thomas Edison's son or is somebody related to Thomas Edison opened up a a factory in Sag Harbor, which is still around today, called Sag Harbor Industries.
Was that because Tesla was on the North Fork, the North Shore of the island?
Tesla actually was on the south too in Sayville.
No, Shoreham, right?
No, it was the Wardenclyffe Manor. Yeah, it was up there.
That's
somewhere.
it.
But here's another thing. You can talk about the Long Island Railroad before. So Tesla was all over the place. He was all over the place.
Yeah.
He was backed by Edison at one point, who withdrew his money, and that's part of the reason why Tesla went.
I think Tesla worked for Edison.
Yeah.
For like 6 months or something.
Yeah, it was a bitter back and forth for a while there, and Tesla actually set up a station in Sayville, and in World War II era. It was the first time the United States military used the Long Island Railroad to mobilize troops to go in and to seize everything on Tesla's Sayville site. How crazy is that?
Interesting.
And I think that same line then goes back out to where you are. It travels all the way out to the Montauk area. It's a very interesting story. You
A lot
can
of
read about
history
that.
on Long Island.
Dude, so much. It's bananas. And Sag Harbor is no less. I mean, I didn't know it was the first port of entry.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So how did they? I guess Deepwater Port would make sense, and then I'm just thinking now, looking at the map this morning, you're kind of situated Sag Harbor a little further east from Shelter Island, right? It's just
South.
No, south, but like if
A little bit east.
little bit east, right? Just
Yeah.
off to the southeast there,
Right.
So you wouldn't have to go travel around Shelter Island in order to get in there. So I guess then you can get that Deepwater Port. Very, very cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Now I want to go out to Sag Harbor more, besides just going to the brewery.
Yeah.
You should also go to Townline Barbecue.
Yeah, all right. I got it.
also.
And it is a year-round town. Like a lot of the towns, like east of the canal, and the Hamptons and Montauk, have a very small year-round community, and then a huge, resort-style season. In
Memorial Day to
summer.
Labor Day.
Yeah, exactly. And Sag Harbor is no different. There's definitely an influx of people. Used to be myself as well.
Yeah.
Before I became full-time. But the school system is what sets it apart. And then also just the density. It really has a density that creates a village or
Yeah.
a town,
Yeah.
as you would put it. It's like, it really is a
It's
town.
big enough you would see it in a normal, if you put it into Nassau County, it'd be a town.
It would be a
without
town.
Yeah, without
Correct.
doubt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how the village has cooperated with you in setting up the brewery. Are they, really restrictive on things you could do? Like, what was I know you said you like to be there, but then to decide to be there is a whole nother game. So how'd you fare with the town or the village at that point?
The village was great. And I'm not just saying that because they might be listening. No, they really.
DJ D Love is the vice president.
He's councilman.
He's a boardman.
No, the village honestly was fantastic. The one thing that they couldn't allow us to do was allow us to actually brew inside the village confines.
Okay.
Which is a big kind of like, okay. But they allowed us to take over what had been, a garden center store and turn it into a tasting room.
Okay.
And they're working with us for the future of possibly brewing within the village.
Is that like the light manufacturing kind of thing?
It's and I don't know the full technicalities, like my kind of eyes glaze over, but there's and maybe this is elsewhere, but it's definitely in Sag Harbor. Unless it's an allowable use, unless it's written down that you can do it, you can't. So there's a
Grandfathered
huge
in
list
thing,
of things you can do.
But brewing beer is not on that
And
list.
it's not on the list.
Son of a
and it could be on the list, but it just takes time for it to
Sure.
get on the list. And we had our own timelines, and we are like, all right, fine. We'd already been working with some of the breweries nearby. And by
So
So
nearby,
that's how it was going to be an
40
SRC
minutes
contract
west.
brewing? Or,
Yes.
okay.
So now at North Fork, correct?
So we have an alternating proprietorship with North Fork Brewing
Oh,
Company.
okay.
So
And-
we exist as a farm brewery
Yes.
to the eyes of the law. And Pete and Ian at North Fork have been
They're great.
nothing but great. You
Yeah.
know, as when we started hitting the snafus of the legal realities in the village, they
Join the club, buddy. High fives all around.
yeah, they could have done all of that, but they were just like, they're like, look, we'll help you out.
Like a disappointed father, son. I'm sorry, but these are the terms of life. We have to
Right.
live with these.
This is the way life
Right.
goes. Get used to it.
They said, keep that spark in your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't lose that spark.
Don't lose it.
As
but
a
yeah.
tear ran down his eye.
No, so Pete and Ian, fantastic,
Yeah.
and continue to be fantastic. Our alternating proprietorship is under them. We do a lot of technically contract brewing through Uber Geek.
Yep.
Oh.
And Rob Raff.
Rob Raff is
Robbie
an
boy.
amazing
Jesus.
An amazing.
You got all the big
individual.
hitters out there. You got them all on board.
I'm very blessed.
Yes.
Very blessed. And then the old school guys at Long Island.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Greg and Dan have also given me their wisdom, and they basically started everything out east, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
yes.
I mean,
They're
them
all
and
our
a couple
East
other
End
people,
friends.
but yeah, but
If you want to
know,
count Crooked Ladder.
Yeah, but now it's trade wind, so
I know. It's still
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
But I
Well, I don't mean to step on it. These are the guys who help me out. Like,
Oh,
their
no,
messenger is fantastic. and-
everything's on the table with us. It's fine. We're friends with 99% of everyone out there, so they know we ball bust. So these guys, you're technically you're brewing at both Uber Geek and North Fork
and Long Island.
and Long Island.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you have so many beers with you. Jesus Christ! So there wasn't one of them that could have handled the amount of beers you want to brew with the tank space. That's pretty much what you were going with. So
Well, it's interesting. I think, first off, I walked into it kind of like one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Or some would say like Mr. Magoo. Okay. and so, without having kind of full situational awareness, and now looking back on it, that's why I can say like these guys really did stick their necks out. At the time I was grateful, but I didn't really understand how much they were
how
actually
deep they're going to go into it? just with it.
reputationally for them.
Yes.
Yep.
Their time, their experience, their equipment, their plant, the stuff that everything. And so it's fantastic. North Fork is in the enviable position where they're growing so fast, and they've now distribution that's expanding
Yep.
tremendously.
They get their cannon line in. I knew they were looking
Not
at
yet.
one. No.
Not
Still
yet.
using Maltman?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because they were cranking out so many cans, I was like, they must be getting Maltman like every 2 weeks, just cranking things out.
But the way their system is set up, I mean, it's just so efficient.
Yeah.
And
They get the garage doors on the backside,
just the whole thing is amazing.
back it in, and boom, done in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But because of that, they have a 5-barrel system.
Mm-hmm.
Their capacity to host Kid Squid in a real fashion, not just a legal fashion, was getting strained, especially with the new distribution. So then
and
enter
you're just
Rob.
vying for tank space and schedule. That's really it's hard.
Yeah, and
Well,
they gave
and
me tons of heads up, and
Yeah.
then they said maybe you want to talk to Rob.
Well,
And so I
and-
spoke to
and
Rob.
That's
at
not,
Uber Geek.
you're not the only one that contracts out of North Fork either. That's right.
I
Well,
am.
same thing
Oh,
with
really?
Yeah, no, North Fork is doing just North Fork right now.
Wow.
I mean, look, I'm speaking with
Well, I knew there
authority
was,
here, but I don't really have
Yeah,
it.
no,
Maybe they are, but I really don't think they are.
there was a lot that were on their dossier, but you're right. I think some of them actually kind of moved out on their own. What was Springs doing?
Well, Springs was out
He's
of
at
Rafa.
Uber Geek.
It was Rafa
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So there's another one on Rafa. And who else was out of Rafa? There was a
Well,
there's
he's doing his.
right.
the former owners.
He's doing
There's
mustache.
Mustache.
Well, then,
Mustache.
then
They haven't put
really
anything
done-
out.
they haven't
There's
really-
the Synergy Beer Project.
Synergy.
Well, that's
right.
Rob's
Gary
other
was doing it.
project.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's a couple other contracts
Yeah.
that go out of there.
So I mean, you leave. I mean, North Fork's trying to not squeeze you, but they're trying to get as much as they can get out. Then you go to Rob, and he's got like 5 people contract brewing. So then it's like, who else do I go to?
But that's good though that he's got 3 different breweries.
oh,
that-
absolutely.
Yeah, whoever's got.
Well, we have...
The first thing I looked at on the lager was who did it.
Where is it?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Where is it?
And this is a Rob special, man. This thing is
Sure is.
that he actually knows what he's doing, and they all do. Well, that's not saying
And
I'm not saying that at all. But
The thing though I appreciate that Rory did was
Yeah.
where it was actually brewed and canned.
Right.
Because I'm not going to mention any names,
Right.
but there are a good handful of breweries on the island that say that it's canned and brewed from their brewery,
and they don't have any brewing equipment.
it is not.
They don't have brewing equipment, which is fine.
And one of my
But-
boys from one of the contract has to always take pictures
yeah.
and send them to me of a can, and then takes a picture of where he's at, which is the big brewery.
Is it his version of dick pics to you?
Bro, it's fucking hysterical.
for
He
it
usually
is.
puts it on Instagram stories.
Does
too,
he? Oh,
and he
boy.
doesn't say
He
anything.
doesn't blow anything?
He
Oh,
doesn't
just
say anything.
put
He
it out
just
there.
he'll take a little video of the place and then the can.
Yeah.
And he'll say brewed and canned by, and it's
How many contracts did they have?
Oh shit! Now they are
We're talking
over.
about GSP, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, we won't mention it because
Okay.
he's blowing somebody up. But go ahead.
Shit, over 30, 40 something.
Contracts?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Holy ballsack.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's breweries that you don't even think about.
No, I but we're talking about even local and in beyond too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So we had the
I know what you're saying, but it wasn't that one. It was the other one right there.
opportunity then because we had some budget for equipment that was not used equipment because we couldn't build it. But we were able to get some space inside Uber Geek. So we'll see how the future goes. But
Going to put a tank in there? then?
we have 2 15-barrel unit tanks that we put in there 2 months ago.
Good.
So we have guaranteed fermentation space.
Yeah, and that's key right now.
That's exactly
You could always weasel your way into a brew schedule somewhere. All right, I got to be there 3 in the morning. Okay, I'll be there 3 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh,
Rob's eyeing
That's
those
a
for
loaded
himself
term.
too. He's like,
Rob's been great. Rob's been 100% great. I mean, fantastic, and much more than just helping out with the beer recipes, but just 360 on the whole business.
Yeah.
And he's figuring it out too. He's only
Relatively new as well.
He's only a year or so. I mean, he's got a tremendous amount of professional brewing experience behind his belt, but as a business owner and a brand, developing his brand and all that, he's relatively new.
Yeah.
now, what you were building before you bring these recipes over to these guys, how do you decide who gets what? That's like, which child gets the extra, 2 feet of bed space from a double to a queen? Like, who's getting the certain stuff? Do you do it by
whoever will take me?
Yeah,
I like how you're framing it. Like I get to choose.
Yes, you have all the power.
Yeah, all the power. Right. It's like, excuse me, sir. No, we started with North again, just like 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
North Fork let us in with the alternating proprietorship. They said, how much beer do you think you're going to produce? I said, I have zero idea. As much as people will drink it, right? That's
the goal.
It's the honest answer, right? But in terms of barrels, I have no idea. I can tell you right now, we're doing a lot more than I thought we would be doing in February of this year when we started the process of the alt prop.
Now, with all these, do you have enough room to store all these cans and kegs?
So that's where Long Island comes back in.
You see?
So Long Island's been great. They have such a huge. I mean,
we've seen it. We saw what was in there too that time. Remember we went in there. We were drinking King Celtic off the tank. Yeah. We go into their walk-in and we went, wow,
right?
It's a whole nother facility just inside the walk-in. This is when
they were contract brewing for Killington beer.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I have a lot of those Killington kegs.
Yeah, look at you.
So that's where Port Jeff comes into play.
Yeah, there you go.
And they helped me out with keggage.
Jesus.
So no, I've called around a lot and a lot of people without knowing who the hell I am or if I was even serious gave me time and I got to say it was one of the I've heard about that with the brewing industry as a whole, but to literally we're keeping the lights on in our place right now. We're trying to grow a brand to have other companies and to know now. Well, I guess technically competitive, but just the amount of time you don't have, and then to be able to spend that time helping somebody else out.
Well, we made that when we went to a Cast Fest.
Yeah,
there was a shit ton of brewers there, and we all said the same thing. Everybody goes to the Cast Fest because we get to see each other, because normally we don't get to see each other because you're brewing, your family, whatever you're doing, you just never get a chance. Yep. Or you go to a once every so many months you go to a New York State Brewers Guild meeting and you get together and you talk and you drink a little bit. But nice. For these guys to give time, I've always said it, the guys on Long Island are all great to each other. Yeah, there's 1 or 2, but there's 1 or 2 wherever you go. But everybody's always willing to help, which is I'm still glad it's happening.
So I've been really lucky, and I'm very hopeful that my brand grows and that we're not bound to other people where I have to feel bad I'm taking their time or taking their resources, and I really do look forward to the point where I'll be able to do that back. Sure. Right now, just people are helping me out, and I'm never gonna forget it.
Now you have your hand in a bunch of different places. So does that get kind of crazy going back and forth between a few places, brewery to brewery, trying to figure stuff out?
It would, except that those three breweries in particular are within 5 square blocks of each other.
Yeah.
So it's actually the harder part is driving from Sag to Riverhead and trying to do it so that you're going against the traffic. Which
Okay,
I've
so
been able
who's
to do.
washing your kegs?
Long Island is currently.
I'm only asking because Long Island, I think, has washed every brewery on Long Island's kegs at one point. Yeah. They used to do my kegs. They did Mustache's kegs. They did Port Jeff's kegs for a while. They did 1940s. They did anybody who asks, they're like, yeah, we washed their kegs for a little while.
So
Is that
Yeah,
just a
they've
piece
got-
of equipment everyone just doesn't have?
Yeah,
room
no
for?
one
Is
has
that
that.
the thing?
They have the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's and it's a filthy thing. It's pretty much the dirtiest part of a brewery, and you obviously don't want your brewery dirty, but that is the shittiest area because kegs have dirt, whatever on them.
whatever they're thrown into
Oh,
and
man.
walking and everything. Really quick, there's a bunch of people on Instagram saying hello. I didn't check this for like the last 10 minutes.
Oh, you stupid
Oh my
bastard.
God. Hey, look, Meg. Craig
oh,
Atwood. Barnshed's checking in. West Bab saying what's up. Jake Clancy's on there. Carolina Malthouse after our Riverbend show started
cool.
following us. Maybe they want to come on the
You
show.
say West Babylon, like the
Superstar. Yeah.
Is that Rob?
Rob, yeah.
What's
of
up,
course.
Rob?
You know Rob
What's up,
from Rob. And,
Yeah.
Dom Vino's checking in. CM Sweeney, 85. Bobby from Barrier saying what's up. He
Hey.
said,
Bobby boy.
he said, tell him, Steve Dave. And then he said, I miss you fuckers. So thanks a lot. And I miss you too, buddy. We got to have you. All we do is deal with Ricky now all the time. Bobby, you're
Yeah.
overseas. You are
Right, the motherfuckers all over the place.
He bought a football club or some shit with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McCaffrey. Yeah. It's Amanda McDonald's checking in, and the Hopster Beer Company's checking in. A whole bunch of people on Instagram Live. What's going on, guys? Thanks a lot for checking us out. If, in fact, the Instagram feed goes down, we're over on YouTube and Facebook, of course, on the Go
Are we on
Rams
Twitch
Comedy
yet?
Club podcast. What?
Are we on Twitch yet?
We will be. We will be. That'll eventually be our platform, and we'll still have our own stuff
to
like
get
we
those
always do.
headsets with the cat
No,
ears?
like this. Yo, you want like the goggles. But a lot of people checking in. Yeah, well, I mean, we've heard, Rob from Superstar. I see him because now he's set up in Lindenhurst, and I see him every so often. Always, he works at Uber Geek now and then, and has said very nice things about you for sure. He got to me about a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago, when I saw him, and I said we were going to have you on when we canceled for the third time or whatever we did to arrange our
Yeah,
schedule.
Pete.
No,
Thanks.
it wasn't Pete. That was all me. That was all me not looking at the spring lineup that you built so long ago for the Excel document we didn't share.
The first time was me, though, right?
I think the first time
Well,
was
you said we might want to change. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. Cause
Yeah.
I'm
And then the
slammed,
second
right?
time I'm like, yes. And then it was
And
no
then you
because I
said no.
totally screwed up the schedule.
Yeah, he's like, I think I fucked up.
And then I was driving out here tonight, and I was like, I wonder when he's going to cancel.
Thank God.
And bazinga.
You know what it was? You want to hear something messed up? Double booked that show, and I think it was a cancel one.
Oh, the Jamesport?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was that one. It was something else that we had to cancel.
Which I do have to say, it was very nice of them. They came over at CastFest
Yeah.
and apologized
Yeah,
to
yeah.
us.
Oh, that's,
So we canceled on you, but then someone canceled on us. So you know what? Karma
Paid it-
comes back.
paid it
right?
forward.
Yeah, but
Pay it forward.
Yeah, same way. We really appreciate you for being on. All right, so let's talk about Kid Squid, the name, because that is something that I've heard some stories about, but I want to hear from you.
I'm very interested.
I have a feeling it has to do with pirates. That's all I remember
You know what?
reading. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just because like Captain Kidd.
Well,
Kid,
I
something,
feel
yeah.
it has something to do with Navy or
Okay, it's
or,
nautical based.
Well, more so military because
Oh.
if you're in the Navy and
Yeah.
you're a new guy or Coast Guard,
They call you Kid.
you're a squid.
Oh, you're a squid.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't know that, so that's obviously not that.
good fucking guess, there. Fucking idiot.
Wait, they really say squid?
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
didn't know
cool.
that.
That's a cool little nickname.
I heard
like that.
greenhorn, but that's
Yeah, greenie.
was
Hey,
on
hey,
Dead-
relax.
I was
That's
on
my
Dead-
Deadliest catch.
Deadliest Catch.
Not
Yeah.
red catch. Not a lot of people are gonna go for that. Hey, a Greenhorn Brewing Company. Bafangu, hey.
You have to bite. You have to bite the head off of the bait. I remember that's a thing. You drink the blood or whatever. All right, so tell us a little bit about what kids. Where the hell that name?
So where
come
did it really come from?
from? Yeah.
It came from the mind of a 3-year-old.
Oh.
And that was my son is now 9, so
How time flies.
6 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was one of the first cans. We had a little October Seamer, the canning thing,
Yeah.
Love that little thing.
and a little hand crank.
You know how many
little hand crank labeler.
breweries were saved by October? October should just get showered with all sorts of gifts and accolades.
But did you see the other day, Marich's Brewing
yeah.
was like, yeah, I was never mechanically inclined until I got this fucking thing. I had to repair it about 30 times.
Well, when you abuse it,
Well,
because
that's it. When you,
Oh
it's
my
not
God.
meant to do
300 crowlers.
in a day
Oh my
for
God.
fucking 7 days straight.
God.
It's it's
Well,
well, the thing with him though. it does more than crowlers. You can do
12 ounce,
16 ounce,
yeah.
19s. You
Well,
can
they have
do
to,
all
but
the way
the
down to
adapters.
4 ounce.
You have to
there's
get the
these-
adapters.
Yes, the
Yeah,
chucks.
there's these chucks, right? Exactly. And we were doing 16-ounce cans. Living the dream.
One by one.
One by one. Exactly. We're doing. I
One.
think we got it to 70 cans an hour, which is
Hey, holy shit.
that's
You were kicking
Good time.
ass.
Good time.
And with
Good
labels
time.
and everything?
With labels.
Holy
yeah.
crap.
I mean, we're factoring in the downtime of like fixing the seamer,
Yeah.
fixing the labeler,
I just want you to know,
rolling it the right
Foam.
we,
Foam
we-
everywhere.
we are on the air, and if you were using your 9-year-old, that really is child. Labor laws are going to be
Disclaimer,
involved.
disclaimer, disclaimer.
So no, it's a. I was designing the label. The beer was still an extract. Yeah, it was still extract stuff. I'd asked my son Bennett at the time, "What do you want to call it?" And he just said "Spirit Squid." He's probably reading a book about squids or something, or saw some cartoon or something about that. And the Spirit Squid stuck, but Spirit is like a. It's like if we were a distillery, that would
Yes.
make sense.
Yeah.
Kid does come from Captain Kidd.
It does, right?
Yeah, and so my
saw
part-
something about a pirate around there.
Yeah, my partner's my father-in-law. The last pint I had with him, my partner's from London, from England,
Oh.
and
Wait a second. Hold on. Side story. How did that happen?
so Grania, she's my partner in life. and
Okay.
she's my wife and partner.
She's from London?
She's from Kent, so just
Okay.
south of London, and her parents are Irish. And
Okay.
I'm from New York City. My parents are Irish, and we met in a bar on the Bowery.
Go figure.
As you do.
Two Irish
Get the
people.
shit
As,
out of here.
as one does.
As you do, right? As was foretold.
Mine was fucking Italian. I found mine in a cannoli.
In a cannoli.
In the cannoli.
In the cannoli.
She's wrapped
Well,
up
it's a
in the
strip
cannoli.
joint called the cannoli. Called the cannoli. And she was
You
in
know
the
what? I
cannoli.
would go there. Nice, beautiful
Yeah.
Italian women. All right,
Yeah.
we'll take some of that. But she
anyway.
was born on St. Patrick's Day, by
Sorry,
the way.
Chris.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Born on St. Patrick's Day with the last name O'Toole. No Irish. Dude, go figure.
Her
But
last
she's
name's
from
O'Toole.
Kent, huh? All right.
Yeah, she's
So
from
how'd you
Kent.
guys meet?
We met in a bar.
In the bar.
Well,
in the Bowery.
On the Bowery.
On
As
the
one
Bowery.
does.
Then
As
what was
one
she
does.
doing in the States?
She was working in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was in business over here.
She was in business
Okay.
already, and she was just letting loose. And I had just come back from somewhere, and we ran into each other.
He was
in the
letting
bar.
loose. And
Yeah.
Letting loose, and
Wow.
the rest is history.
There you go.
It was the accent, wasn't it?
Yeah, my accent.
Yeah.
It was my accent.
I'm from Long
Turn
Island.
that around. Yeah. You want some coffee? She's like, what? What? Coffee?
What the hell's coffee?
Tea. It's all tea.
So-
Very good. So you
Anyway,
guys,
so my father-in-law, when we'd visit London, he would take me out. He's old school, proper Englishman, like as proper as they come.
how hard was that to ask him to marry his daughter? Like, is
Oh, I
it
didn't
scary
ask
for that? Yeah,
You didn't ask.
decided it.
It's it was her stepdad, so her actual
Okay.
father passed away
Okay.
a long time ago, so I wasn't able to
So it
ask
wasn't
him.
an ability to-
I did ask her mom for
Okay.
marriage, and she said no.
Really?
Yeah, and then she said yes.
Oh. Did she like fuck with you and say no, or was she like serious?
I still remember it, so it's definitely fucked with me.
He still is awake at night.
You
I don't know
remember?
if she intended to do that, but anyway, so he would take me out on these pub crawls, and we'd go to like old breweries in London, and he'd map this out for like I want to say months. Maybe it was like the day before we go out, but I like to think that he spent a lot of time on it because it really did feel special. And we'd go from like one place to the other, like the Mayflower, where like the actual Mayflower took off.
Yeah.
You know, like, and just history in London, it's a different time scale.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a totally
yeah.
different time scale. And the last pint I had with him before, unfortunately, got sick and died, was at.
Well, that took a turn.
Yeah, sorry, well, I was just gonna
Yeah.
breeze past that.
Yeah.
But, was at the Captain Kidd, and so
man.
in memoriam, then I was looking it up, and Captain Kidd, that he was hanged there, so that was kind of cool.
No.
That's where he was hanged, and he had buried treasure out in Gardiner's Island, which is like
Right.
right next to Sag Harbor.
Yes, that's what I
So-
saw. Has anyone ever found that?
No, that's
Yeah,
all-
the Gardeners did.
They
No,
did?
it's totally
Really?
true.
Totally
Yeah.
true.
Totally true. 100%
And
documented.
what
and
did what did that finance? They just buy the island and that was it, or
everything.
they,
No, I think they were
just
land rich for a long time. They
yeah,
That was like a treaty from the king or something like
Yeah.
that. The Gardner family. They
Huh.
still own it. They still have
they do,
land.
right? Yeah, yeah. But they didn't like make a name for themselves in like finance or business or politics or anything. So I'm wondering why.
I think they're called old money.
Yeah, but that's the good money though. That's the deep rooted money.
They own an island.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good point. You gotta make a good point.
The man makes a point there.
Yeah. I mean,
And
still got a fucking
kid
island.
rhymes with squid.
Yeah.
That's the most important
There
tie into
you
the
go.
right.
It does. It does kind of tie together, which
Yeah.
is nice. Well, that's a great story. I mean, just to have that on there. Let's talk about the News 12 piece today. I don't have the article. I was going to bring it up on the thing, but you know what? We're streaming. There's still a bunch of people checking it out and hanging out, so I don't want to interrupt their viewing pleasure. So did you approach them? Did they approach you? Is there something that like kind of wrapped up in a Newsday article that ended up becoming a piece? What was
it was Jesse from the Sen. Jesse and his brother, they have kind of a restaurant empire, and they're a big deal out east.
Yeah.
And he had introduced Doug Geed to us.
Okay.
And so it was just good timing.
Yeah.
And again, and honestly, I didn't know what we were. I mean, kind of like this. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Getting into it. Yeah.
Right. So Doug comes out, and the past 2 weekends, like, just been tons of people showing up.
Yeah.
And like, hey,
That's nice.
Saw you on Channel 12.
Nice pizza. Nice B-roll.
Yeah. So.
So the progress here. You guys opened when? What was the opening date?
So we were ready to open in early May.
Okay.
So as great as the village was, and I mean, like, really great, like helping us. Like, I mean, I was filling out forms that would have like dragged this out for years. The way I was answering stuff. And I was just doing my best. But, you know, and the village helped out and all that stuff. On the opposite side, the SLA did not help us out at all. And I'm not, you know, I don't want to get inspected. I don't know how this works, but, you know, I love them.
No, you don't. No, you do not.
Steve, I do. I really do. I'm in love with them.
I'll leave my wife tomorrow for them.
I know it's not anything personal. It was just a faceless bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Coming out of a pandemic, or we're still in a pandemic, whatever. But whatever it was, I mean, we were ready in May, and they wouldn't let us open until
They were not ready to open.
They were not ready for us, right? And you know, at some point, I mean, I went through all the emotion. I was like, well, I'll just make my own license.
Yeah.
This just says you can do whatever you want.
Exactly. Can't I just chalk a New Jersey one? That made it for me from when I was 18.
It's like, I'll declare
boy.
myself a sovereign country.
Start a new religion.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
That's it.
right. I'll put it under somebody else's name.
We're Squidium religion. I can serve whatever I want.
So we were like kind of twiddling our thumbs and, you know, paying the rent and all that stuff and watching the summer go by, and that's, you know, especially
Prime
out
drinking
east.
season out east. Yeah.
It's got to be
but
painful just sitting there just watching.
And after a while, I was like, why am I sitting in the tasting room as people are going, are you open yet? I'm like, call the governor. Call the governor.
Write your local congressman.
Exactly.
Son
Right,
of a
everybody.
bitch.
Yeah.
You should have just had petitions on a clipboard outside. Just sign this, please. And
You know what?
There are a lot of things I would have done if
Yeah.
I could take that time back.
You know what? It probably didn't help because he was in there with the lights on, drinking, crying, and people looking at him going, "What the fuck is going on? Is this an artistic thing going on?
what is this?
It's true. It's
Modern
true.
expressionism.
Yeah, is it what an expression? What?
So anyway, we got like, it was July 18th, and I'd just gotten off a phone call with an elected official or something. He's just saying, like, you know, once again, it's like, so we've done what we can do, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know, I like just this sinking feeling, like, and I was like, ugh. And then I got an email from the SLA, and it was the manufacturing license plus the tasting room license.
Nice.
Boom, boom. So there's our branch permit plus our official
Print.
Yeah. Print, frame.
Hit the opens.
Open the next day.
Turn the open light
Open
on.
the next day.
Yeah, really.
And
Now, would you have prepared? How much beer did you have for that opening?
we had way too much beer.
Yeah.
Really?
I just kept brewing and brewing. And this is also stupid, but at the time, you know, you kind of get mystic. You know, all your objectivity kind of goes out the window when you've put enough on the line.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, you become superstitious. That's the only thing that's left. I'm like, if I stop brewing, we're never going to open. And that was my superstition.
Jesus.
Keep brewing and it will open. It's like, we're just going to keep going. And Rob at Ubergy, who's like, you should just distribute. You're allowed to. You can distribute. I'm like, no, we got to do it from the tasting room. It has to be from the tasting room. He's like, okay, you know.
Okay,
and,
bro.
all right,
Well, I'll be honest with
do
you. A lot of breweries, what they do is they'll do a good backup, but they'll realize that opening weekend or that opening week, it was not enough. You probably did.
That's what we're used to hearing is we didn't have enough beer.
And we had to close for 2 weeks as we finally had another beer in the works or whatever.
We did not have to close.
Nice.
We have brewed so much.
It's been nonstop since day one.
We did not have to close. We did run low by Labor Day.
Okay. So we went for a good month and a half, maybe?
Went for a good month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if you're out east, if you're going to run out of something after Labor Day is
that was the
time.
Well, I saw Labor Day coming, and everybody's like, "Oh, get ready for everything to drop and blah blah blah." And so I, as much as I could, once we opened, I was like, "All right." I didn't even have time to do much more development. It's like I was like, I don't even know how many kegs I have at Long Island. It's like everything goes upside down.
It's so much beer. He doesn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, all right, time to learn the point of sale.
A month and a half. It's a good time to actually learn.
I was like, I'm not learning the point of sale until we open.
That's great.
Damn knowledge.
Isn't there a YouTube video for this?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
I watched them all at 5 a.m.
Oh my
As he cried himself to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you and your wife were involved with this.
Yeah.
You also have staff at this point, obviously being open for a couple of months now.
Yep.
More than that, almost a half a year now. I think about it. Well, 4 or 5 months.
2 months and 3 weeks. Yeah.
2 months. Wait, am I doing?
No one's counting.
Yeah. Or no.
And 3 hours.
3 months. It was July 20th.
July, so August, September, October, November. So about 4 months, just right around. Yeah, if you get to.
You're correct, Mike.
I know. Well, I'm not trying to be correct. I said 6 months, so I was way off to stay. I'm like, I don't even know what month it is.
All right, crack another beer, goddammit.
So in that time, I mean, how much has that staff grown? I mean, do you have to bring on more people as even the season is?
He's got a Sagtoberfest.
Holy shit!
Yeah. We can move to the darker ones after
Yes.
after these ones.
Oh, this is the one I was eyeing up. I was like, what is this little guy?
So we've got a couple guys. I mean, lean heavily on Rob Raff at this point on what's inside the can,
right?
And the outside of the can actually. Like I do the designs and the labels and everything like that. But,
okay.
So we've got that kind of covered for now, for the time being. Got a couple of really good bartenders.
Good. Local people that you can kind of call on if you need it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. But again, like as much as we've learned, like we're going into a new season now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have to tighten our belts or what we have to do. At the same time, we're getting awareness. Like being here, this is great.
It might be the right balance at this point to kind of just even it out.
Counteract, right? That's kind of like aside from the revenue that we should have had in the summer to tide us over. Now we're going to have to depend on next year to make up for this. So aside from that,
just almost like a reinvestment into this upcoming season.
But my point is so the money is one thing, but just not having that experience of the summer behind me, instead of having
to figure out what to do.
A portion of the summer,
right?
while I'm figuring, I was joking about the point of sale, but I'm also not joking. There's a decent amount of the summer that went through just trying to learn how to tie your shoes, and had we started in May, I would be just that much more experienced by now. Instead of being like, all right, this is great, but now it's like, oh, winter's coming. You know? And then, so we'll see how it goes. But
so you guys are a farm brewery license.
Correct.
You are under, do you also have the micro as well?
Nope.
So you're under the restrictions of how much grain, malt, wheat, or hops, and all that stuff.
Ingredients from New York State. Yep.
So what is that conversation like with Rob or with Ian and Pete about what's going into this? And depending on what recipes you're coming with and what they're saying, all right, we can substitute that. How's that process going?
It's slightly different in all three of the breweries in terms of how the interaction goes. For Uber Geek, for example, I get all the ingredients and the recipe and everything, and it has to go to Uber Geek.
Yep.
And it has to be there before milling, right? And the recipe has to be detailed enough so that Rob's not making guesses.
Calling you up Rory, what's the temp? What are we thinking here?
I'm like, I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
You're the brewer.
What do you think? What'll work? So that's that. In North Fork, they keep it all in there because they have a whole procurement system that's a little separate. So you give them the recipe and they'll do the ingredients and all that stuff.
So they'll do the ordering for you?
They'll do the ordering.
Oh,
and
nice.
they know I'm a farm brewer. And all the recipes that I develop, we go through Gotham, which a lot of people go through. Mm-hmm. And in the Gotham, there's a couple of New York State products is the pills and malt and the 2-row. So as long as you're keeping 80% plus on that.
I was going to ask, what is the percentage up to these days?
I think it's 80%. I'm not positive. We try to be 100%.
Yeah.
I had looked at your menu, and you had quite a few beers that were 100%.
100% grain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Not
is
adjuncts, though.
is it getting
Well,
Well, yeah, you can only do so much. There's only so much. There's only so much.
the way he patted me on the back.
I did it above the table.
I think he did a wink, wink too, a little nudge, nudge.
Wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
I would imagine it's difficult to find substitutes for the hops you want to do. That's to me one of the things that's almost it's almost impossible. Has New York State made any strides to try to get something like New Zealand hops are hot, right? I mean, you got your sexy hops which are out there, but what is the one New York State hop that everyone goes to? Centennial. Is that a good New York State
Cascade.
hop?
I mean,
Cascade.
I get for the boil hops and stuff. We use Thor, which is local.
Ah, yes.
Where did you get? Who'd you get that from?
From Ryan from Ryan Ruse. He's 27 hop yard.
Are you thinking of
He's fucking making it again.
Thor's hammer? Is that what it?
No, we had this conversation
So listen,
before.
he's
About
he has the weed license, and the first thing I asked him was, "Will you keep making this Thor?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I bought enough just in case he wasn't.
I was one of the first brewers to use that hop from him.
yeah.
And I did a collaboration with Lithology, and then he
The
stopped.
Daler?
It was Dale L.
Yeah.
And
when
it was
was this?
That was a few years ago.
A few years ago.
4 years ago.
All right. Well, he's definitely been making it since because I
Okay.
got fresh.
Of course, I was going to say that to you. I had seen it, Thor hops. I'm like,
We had this discussion with Manny, I think.
that beer, we never brewed it again, and they wanted to brew it so bad. I'm like, I can't get the hops. You stop growing them.
Well, maybe he took a pause to kind of transition over to weed. And
I gotta let Manny know. Manny, if you're
You know
listening.
what? He was probably was when he was pausing to go to CBD,
Yeah.
and now he's doing weed.
Yeah.
And he's gonna kill it.
The-
But,
Well, they were at
anyone's gonna
Cast
do it.
Fest.
Yeah.
oh, were they?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. 27A. Yeah.
Ryan wasn't, but
Not 27A. Route 27.
Route 27.
Yeah. Ryan wasn't.
Route 27
We
Hop Yard,
we actually were going to be doing a live show over the summer. We had I don't think we canceled. I think he canceled or something went up. That we ended up. I think we had to cancel it, whatever it was. But we were going to do it live in his hemp greenhouse, which would have been
That's awesome.
phenomenal with all the plants in the back and just talking about. Anything from the
we
CBD
would have
stuff.
found you like a cat in
It's
catnip,
CBD,
rolling
it's
around.
CBD.
I
I was
was
like
around in
catnip.
the bushes.
I was over there picking up Thor hops, and I was like, "Oh, can you show me the green?" He's like, "Yeah," and he showed me in, and it's just like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! This is all CBD."
Yeah.
And it was all budding. And
Yeah.
it just like smelled.
It's
amazing.
crazy.
And
It's
then
crazy.
he's like, he had to take a call. He's like, "Yeah, feel free to walk." I was like, "I'm going to take a little video." And I took a video. I walked down between the plants,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then I turned around and came back out and
He
gave
was
me
a
the
guy
hop.
with an AK-47.
Gave me the hops and everything like that. And then and I got in the car and I'm driving back to Sag Harbor and I'm like,
Yep.
and I just stink.
Yep.
It's just like resin
It's
down
all
my arms.
over you.
Yeah.
The pollen and I just like to just run through
Yeah,
there
see?
like
There he
this
goes.
with his
Yeah.
hands out, my hands out, and just hear Celine
I'm back
Dion
for
playing in the
your
background. Yeah, like I'm what's his face on the front of the Titanic. It'd be amazing. So the amount of ingredients that you're using in your beer is absolutely satisfying your farm brewery license. Are you going to go and seek out the micro now just because then you can be interchangeable? Like, what would be the next step for the licensing?
I bet you we will. But right now, just from an ethical standpoint, I mean this sincerely, is we want to be as local as possible from our sourcing. In fact, tomorrow I'm picking up malted grain from Foster Farms, which is Sagaponic, just south of Sag Harbor.
There you go.
Yeah, and we're going to put that into our
Sagaponic.
Christmas beer.
That'll be the next Route 27
They
pre-roll.
they have a distillery over there.
Yeah, so that's the benefit. So Matt Beam
That's
is
the benefit. Not only am I getting green, but I'm going to get all fucked up.
Yeah, no. Well, hear me out. So,
Wait for it.
Hold on.
so as a farm brewery, we can serve farm distillery
Yes, you can,
and
yeah.
farm winery. So like opening up a tasting room in the middle of the Hamptons and not being able to serve rosé would be, stupid.
It's just
Literally leaving money on the table. Like, forget like we're a beer brand and we need to develop, you just have to have options.
Got to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And you got to keep the lights
Yeah.
on. And rosé keeps the lights on,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
just rosé itself.
Rosé by itself.
Rosé all day.
So Wolfer is like
Yeah.
the rosé company for local rosé.
They're in Southampton, right?
They're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Sagaponic.
Oh,
So
okay.
They're 10 minutes drive south of us. So we've got them on tap, or not on tap. We have them at the bar. We have Channing Daughters, which is an experimental winery. I'm not experimental. They're a winery, but they're a bit more experimental.
They make wine. Let's be straight here. They do make
They make
wine.
great wine.
It's not bug juice.
and then this distillery opens up.
Fermented bug juice? I don't know.
Yeah, this distillery opens up, Sagaponic Farm Distillery, and they're growing potatoes and turning it into. They can't call it whiskey, but because it's not barley, but it's made out of potatoes. But it's whiskey. It's delicious whiskey. It's
Is it
potato
clear?
whiskey. No, it's barrel aged. It's
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's delicious. It's like really good, and they have a potato vodka, they have a cucumber vodka, they have a rhubarb liqueur, and it's all on site.
Yep.
And so the benefit now they have a rye, and then they have
You gotta have a full mixology
distilled
list,
product
yeah.
with malt. So they're malting their own barley. So I'm like, guys, we'll carry you. I wanted to anyway. You know,
Yeah.
we'll carry you, and we have this cool like now that the weather's changed, we have a hot cider from a local
cool.
apple farm called Milk Pail, and then we've got. We
Hot
spike
toddies
it.
in the-
We spike it. Yeah, it's a hot toddy. We spike it with the spud, the potato whiskey that the Sagaponic Farm Distillery makes.
Now, besides having the farm license to do mixed drinks, do you need to have then just a standard liquor license as well?
I don't know. Whatever we're doing, we're totally legal.
Yeah.
It's totally legit.
All above board, I assure you.
There's samples.
I don't know.
Samples.
I don't know. Yeah, that's good.
Are you barrel aging from any of their barrels yet? Or is
We're
that-
not. No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no, but we've been speaking about that.
Yeah.
But the good news is with the
I tried
malted bar.
to steer it.
Thank you. Sorry, Pete. What was that?
He's trying to rope it back in, but the bull is laying down in the corner.
He went by like a dragster. We're good. Next!
No, I would assume it's fine.
Shut
with
up!
All right, I'm just saying I don't know. I was wondering if you knew.
Next!
It's question. It's totally legit. It's all in the up and up. Anyway, my point was.
Yes.
Anyway.
In the discussions, there's like if you guys have any extra malt, they're using it's a 2-row that's very close to Maris Otter. In heritage and in malting. So they're malting with Valley hops, Valley malt. I don't actually know them, but I know that that's where they're malting out of, and I'm picking it up tomorrow,
Nice.
and I'm really excited about that. Aside from that, I think we're talking about sourcing New York State. Country Malt Group has the two products that are New York, and they're dependable and they're consistent, and that's the Pilsen malt and the 2-row. So we just almost everything that's the base.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
Country Malt, take me home.
So I'm sponsored by Culture Malt.
Sponsored by Culture Malt. Get your malt from
This segment
Get
of
all your
Only
Culture Malt
dependable
from
New
Gotham
York.
Grains. Right?
this
Shout out to Steve Coopersmith, by the way.
Yeah. Is he the proprietor over there? Is that
He's
what
I don't know what his technical title is, but he's the guy who I call up and be like,
Makes it happen.
yeah, it's like Rob's letting us brew tomorrow. Can I get 500 pounds?
He's letting us brew tomorrow. I
Can
need
get
at least 500
I
pounds.
need 500 pounds of 2-row.
I'll come get it. I don't care.
Exactly.
Well, we have a little segment that we call Steve's 3 Questions. We'll be interested
is that
for
fun?
you to answer these questions. This particular part of the show is sponsored by Country Malt. We'll be right back with Steve's 3 Questions. Hey, you cool hemp cats. Tonight, we bring you a very special presentation. 3 questions with our very own Steve Pominski. Yeah. Steve's questions. 3 questions from Steve. 3 questions. Steve's questions go. Well, set it up and knock it down there, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, am I on?
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you mean?
didn't hear myself.
All right. Well, you're good.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Rory. So you're basically serving liquor illegally. I mean, no. No, let's fucking forget that.
No, that was the last guy you were talking
That
about.
was another one. No. So, what was that first beer that turned you on to craft beer? What was that one you remember that you were like, holy shit, I got to know more about this?
It was Hetty Topper.
Wow, look at that. Hetty Topper.
Sip of Sunshine is a close second.
Oh. And
They're
this,
Vermont oriented, huh?
Yeah, and it just were given to me. It was my younger brother, actually, gave it to me. He said, you might like this.
bastards. Gotta love
They-
those younger brothers.
they'll
And
get
that was
you
a quick answer, too.
Yeah.
Normally everybody
hemming and hawing there at all, yeah.
Everybody, I don't know.
No,
I prefer Focal Banger, personally. I was never huge.
Vocal Banger's good, yeah.
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 See, no, I like the Hetty Topper over Focal Banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that piney, resiny. It's like the entry level IPA to me. I don't know. Not entry level, but really like gets you hooked and stuff like that. So
I actually saw someone recently, because now you can get Hetty and Focal here on the island.
Yeah, now you can.
And some guy asked, yeah, I'll have that. And I'm at the bar hanging out with the wife, and he gets it. He goes, yeah, can I just get a glass? And I'm like, here we go.
Says so right on the fucking
Here
can.
we fucking go. And I watched him pour it, and he just looked at it like, I go, that's why you're supposed to drink it out of the can, bro.
They don't want you to
Because
see
it was
that
just,
shit.
it was particulate all over.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
you would be
easy.
none the wiser had you just drank
Drink
it out of the can.
like
you know
they
what?
told you to do.
If you want to be even better, then take a can opener and open up the can lid if you really just want a nice
Yeah,
sip pour.
yeah.
Then you still don't have to look at
Stop
it.
it.
I know. Just
Can opener.
anyone who's out there, knock it off.
Knock it off.
Cut the crap.
What is your, as of right now, what is your favorite style?
My favorite style right now would be Goza.
Nice.
That's a
Cheers
new
to
one.
that
I
for
like
sure.
that. All
Love a
right.
good goza.
And I didn't bring it. God damn it.
That's right. It gives us something to go out there for sure.
I really didn't bring it. I can't believe it. It's my favorite beer.
It is. What's
Well,
the?
you didn't want to give it to us.
Favorite one of mine. So.
What's the flavor adjunct?
It's just sea bean. So,
Oh.
yeah. So the salt is from Samphire.
Okay.
Or, sea asparagus, salt wort. It's looks like asparagus, grows in the bays here, or not here. Sorry, out east.
He gave the
Not
word.
in Levittown
He said
for
word.
sure.
He did.
He did. I have to.
Did I do something
Every time
wrong?
someone says the word,
The wort. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Even if it's
Yeah,
C word,
salt wort. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Also called sea bean.
Don't abuse it.
Don't abuse it. Stop it.
It's my rapid fire. It's better than I did that.
Loves radio.
Right? I'm not gonna do that. I have other sounders.
So it is kind of an adjunct, right? Because you add salt to a goza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drunk.
One of my favorite. it's still one of my, It is one of my favorite ingredients in a beer is salt to kind of balance things out. I do like that. With the sweetness of what some of the gozas are, some of them are way over the top. Like we go to Trillium and it's like freaking beet juice. But still at the same time, like that salt balances out that thickness and sweetness. So it's a great additive to a beer that kind of evens things out a
To
little.
this day, it has to be a really good goza
Yeah.
for me to drink it. Otherwise, I'm just like,
Have you had Sea Quench from Dogfish? It's a very drinkable goza.
probably
It's
not.
Very
You know
drinkable.
why?
Do they
Bec-
put kelp in it? Is that,
I think it's it's
Something like that,
that
right?
and lime. There's like a green and then there's
Yeah,
lime.
yeah.
And it's just
It
the
actually
right
might
balance.
be. It might be sea bean. It might be.
It might be. Yeah.
It might be.
I
yeah.
got to look back at it
Yeah.
now. But it's like that great balance of just flavor and not super salty and not super sweet and just the right amount of tartness. And in the summer, sitting in City Field parking
Yes.
lot drinking a bunch of
Yes.
Sea Quenches at like 4-5%, you can just crush them. It's nice.
I really thought that I brought.
That's right.
the-
What
one
was
beer.
what's the ABV on it? What does it come in at?
4.3?
Yeah,
Very-
exactly. So
very
boom,
low.
drinkables.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
and it is crushable if you're, if you can get over the lactic.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I crap my pants the next day. It's all good.
No,
No,
lactose.
I
sorry,
know, not
lactic
lactose.
acid,
I know.
sorry,
I
right,
was
right.
kidding. I was seeing if I get these guys to look at me like, "What are you talking about?"
we know you've crapped your pants many times.
No, I look for the lactose all the time.
Lactic acid.
Yeah.
Lactic acid.
That's the reflux, but I don't really mind that either. Especially when
What's
you burp up some
interesting
good
about
flavors.
the one that we did, a Tide Goza in and a Tide Goza out. Tide Goza out is with the sea bean. Yeah. You got it, right?
Yeah,
If
you
goes
got
in,
it. You got it.
It reminds me.
You gotta have a hook.
That's
Spider bite.
Spider bite.
Yeah.
It goes in your mouth.
Yeah.
It goes in your mouth. Oh, great.
Man, these brewers there with their puns, they're just so fucking
So witty.
so witty. These guys.
Okay, man, hands good.
Hey, fuck you. Yada yada yada.
But we use a special yeast that actually does lactic production and then converts the rest of the sugars to alcohol and carbon dioxide. So it's called Philly Sour out of Lalaman. Lalaman, another sponsor.
Another sponsor of Kid Squid. Kid Squid.
I got to remember all these to
some-
tag in our post today. Shit. Country malt.
All these.
All
guys.
right, I'll get in there. I'll get in
Question
there.
number 3. You go to a bar or restaurant. What's that one beer they have on tap or that's available other than your own? Could be from any time, anywhere. What is that one beer you would want to have?
Beachfront Property by North Fork Brewing Company.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like beachfront property.
And during the summer, perfect.
Yeah.
There we go.
They did an adjunct to that too. Did they do like a variant of it where they added something else to it? God.
Maybe that was at the tasting room, or
Yeah, it
limited
might have
release?
been.
Yeah.
It might have been. I remember I like beachfront. Oh, there's another version of it. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's an excellent beer. The two that I really like from North Fork are the one with the tape cassette. Why can't I think of the name?
Run the Juice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
Excellent.
like the Pierce the Ale.
Yes, that's the other one. Yep.
That's really good too.
Because
Tiny
it's-
Dancer. They've got a whole host of really good beers.
They were, when we had them on earlier on in our podcasting career, and especially Ian, really impressed us with the amount of knowledge, the science.
Guy's an encyclopedia.
It is. It's impossible to keep up with him. Even
I mean,
if
he's like a professional scientist
Yes.
before he went into
Yeah,
it.
he is a scientist. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the in-depth analysis into microbes and yeast production, I'm like, oh my God, I'm hurting myself. But if anyone's listening, go back to that podcast. I don't know, it's like in the 40s or 30s or something like that. Peter will look it up for fact checking. But it was an amazing amount of knowledge. And to have him as part of your, kind of mindset of all this, that's a huge amount of knowledge. And then just the brewing experience with Rob. I mean, the two people you picked, and of course Greg and Dan with their longevity.
Yeah.
Obviously something's going
Institutional
right.
memory,
You
right.
have pretty much the three key components of making a good brewery in one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beer, because I know you probably. How often are you in the brew house during the process of brewing?
As often as I can be. Before we were open, I was always there.
Yeah.
Since opening, it's been a little bit tricky. The moon beers, which we discussed earlier, like every moon, which is generally a 6.0 IPA, similar grain base, bouncing between the New York State Pilsen and New York State two-row, or a combination of, and now adding Foster Farms starting next month. We mix up the yeast, mix up the hops. But that's about it. It's not, it's supposed to be iterative,
Right.
kind of like vamping on a, on a jazz track, but not doing something crazy, or like, November always has, huckleberry, whatever it is, So for those, like, it's almost autopilot now, and Rob's been doing them since North Fork wasn't able to, because they had to produce their own stuff.
Right.
So that's been since June. So we're 5 deep. So the IPAs are kind of covered. I will be going in with Rob on Friday, assuming all the ingredients come in. And
How have the supply chain issues? Have they been really affecting the breweries? Have you noticed?
I've been fine, and
Yeah.
I think that's because I came in really in earnest, professionally procuring product, or at some kind of scale, right?
Yeah.
It's still small scale compared to anybody else, but after all the supply chain stuff had been figured out, there's only once where a grain that was supposed to be available wasn't, and I had to, it was like crystal malt 60 turned to 75, something like that. But aside from that, it's been pretty good. It's more me catching up with like what we need to have come out when.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't think I need to tell you guys, but like a lot of people come on, Tommy, like, let's look at a calendar. Right? But it's not as simple as that. And
Don't you have a phone?
Yeah. Well, for example, it was this morning or yesterday, and I'd spoken to a reporter, and I, honest to God, luckily I wrote it down while I was speaking to him, but he was asking me, what are you doing for Christmas? We're writing a Christmas article about like breweries and their Christmas stuff, and I'm like, this is October. I was like, I don't know for Christmas. I hope I'm open, you know. And he's like, well, you don't have any ideas? I was like, yeah, I'd love to do a strong ale that's spiced and I hear him writing it down. I'm like, oh, I better write it down.
Strong ale,
taking notes
spice.
now, huh?
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's called Twinkle Toes.
And, anyway, the guy was great, and the article's great, and it was good that I kind of made it up on the spot. It was something that was bouncing around the back of my head, and it wasn't like reinvent. It was a normal spiced winter strong ale. Yeah, basically.
Which you can now just kind of create whatever you need just to fill that void. At that point,
and I wrote down when I was specific. I was like, all right, we have to have cardamom because I said that.
How much cardamom do we need?
That one prick will come in and go, I don't taste any cardamom.
Exactly. Like, now it's there. And then so my partner Grania was like, kind of like, oh, it's a funny story. Like, apparently it's been published. But and she's like, so when are you brewing it? I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know if we can because we've got so much. We've got, our storage is almost full in Long Island, and the kegs are, and we've got 12 taps full, and I don't know what the demand's going to be like. And she's like, you spoke to a reporter, you told them that you promised you're making this.
Public news.
and so anyway, so I spoke to Rob, and I was like, yeah, and Rob is able to fit us in. So
good.
That'll be Friday, and I hope to be there all day with him. I really hope so.
Yeah.
But depend on my bartender not calling out sick.
Then you got to race back to the tasting room. I got to be back there.
Yeah, I am still the janitor, but I do have a bartender on Friday. So.
Let's talk about the lager, because that was delicious. I think we all felt about the same, and the smell test passed everyone's, nose. The taste test, obviously, empty glasses around. So give us a little breakdown of this lager. What are you using? What's going in here? What's the concept here? Did this come from one of the home brewing?
It came from a very simple lager recipe, as plain Jane as they come. And the only thing that we did different was we turned 10% of it into maize.
Really?
Into corn. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that's what kind of brought out a little more sweetness, I guess. And
yeah, and it makes it a little bit unique. Crispy, and then outside of that, really, I mean, it's not a. I don't know. I'm not a great salesman. I mean, it's a lager.
It's a fucking lager.
It's a good lager.
Drink like a lager, you drink it.
Yeah. Do you taste asshole? No good.
No. And that really is the key. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, the ones that we taste and it doesn't have that, we're like, okay, all right, we know that's not there. You got flavored beer here, sir. That was delicious.
Right. But that's I mean, with the lager, it's first off, it's our best seller. Looking back
really.
Now, I say that, but we also have like 4 IPAs at a time on. So if like you take it, like there's one lager.
Well, that kind of splits IPAs, the vote.
It splits it out, right? So I have to look at it a bit more closely.
How many taps do you have in there?
We have 12.
Okay.
12 taps.
We have 12 taps, and right now we're hovering on in the past month and a half or so. We've been hovering about 8 or 9 of brews.
Yeah, I mean that's
12.
That's a lot.
Are all 12 yours, or are you doing guest taps?
Only the 12th tap or 11 are ours, and the 12th tap was kombucha. We have a yoga studio next door, and they kept asking for it.
Yep,
and we're not brewing kombucha, obviously.
Really?
It's a non-alcoholic kombucha from Mambucha Kombucha.
Another fucking tag I got to do.
Out of Brooklyn. I got a list for you. Out of Brooklyn, and it's great. They're very inventive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's a good kombucha.
Very inventive.
Yada, yada, yada.
No, but I mean, it's some of the bitches drink it.
It's
do they come in for the kombucha and then they drink a beer in between? Like,
yeah, I mean, less so now. And I'm learning the seasonality, but I think kombucha is a summer drink, apparently. It's like, I got a decent amount of it left now.
So it's gonna be around for a little bit.
Yeah. So it's around. It apparently doesn't go bad.
Well, how about whiskey and kombucha? You just spike the
now
kombucha.
You're talking, right. If
Get
that's
that
legal,
going.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
They got kombucha with a floater of whiskey.
I like that idea. Sidecar, couple sidecars on that. That's nice. I mean, we would usually at this point start talking about not just the beer, but also about your brew house. And now you talked about the 15 tank.
I have one. Right.
Yeah, I have 3 of them.
Yeah, but they're at Rob's place, right? So those 2 tanks, where'd you get them? What are they? What's the brand? What are you working with?
Alpha, and that was. I don't want to say this for certain, but I'm almost positive the rest of Rob's fermenters, which he got. Almost all of them, inherited from Mustache, were Alpha as well.
Okay.
I'm not positive though.
So you're trying to match.
I do remember there was a mix, but I think you're right.
Now, Steve, and this is maybe a question for you. Does it matter if you have a mix of different equipment? No, not at all. I mean, all the connections are the same. It doesn't really make a difference at that point. They're all pretty much...
Tri-clamp for days.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Clamp for days.
but you don't need like a step down from like 2 inch to 1 inch because of these adapters or anything like that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's
depending-
basically the house. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's true too.
Sorry.
Yeah, but from the mash tun, I guess, off to a bright tank, it wouldn't be...
Majority of times,
Hoses.
everything is same size.
Yeah.
Because hoses and that, but you're coming from a different port. You're coming from 3 inch to 2 inch
Yeah.
to 1.5 to...
Yeah, that doesn't really make that
So
big of a...
tri-clamps for
Yeah, you'll
days.
just figure it all out. You get that little like switchblade
right.
knife going on. So, I mean, if in fact you were to brew, do you have the space at the brewery to kind of put those in?
Not anymore.
No. So you'd probably be looking at an off-site space, let's say relatively local, if you were going to do that, and then just kind of bring it over on trucks and cars.
Yeah, and the reality of our geographic position is and the economic reality is increasingly becoming, clear to me. For lack of a better word.
reality is setting in.
That is to say, reality setting in. The real estate's very expensive out east. And then there's there's a reason Montauk has its like little show
In Connecticut.
Yeah.
stuff out
Show
in
is-
Montauk, right?
Yeah,
That's a good word for it. The show.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mean to disparage it. It's just like
Well,
the
Joe does.
economic realities of,
But we don't.
like, building something out on the ass end of a peninsula, you
Yeah.
know? And then
The amount of trucks and cars and shipping containers have to get there is going to cost you a lot more. The sheer volume.
and so
of-
that's just the money side, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the ethics side, and those trucks and everything. They're going there and they're going empty back and all that, and so. But just the ethics aside, just the market defines a lot of this, and the real estate just doesn't exist, or you're up against a lot of opposition. I really hope the Springs guys get up off the ground. It seems like they have support locally in Springs,
Yeah.
and I really hope it works. But there's going to be a capacity issue no matter
Yeah.
who builds anything anywhere out east. Eventually you're going to run into economic realities. So I'm just learning that. It sounds like I've known it forever.
Well, it's
but
plenty
I'm
of
only
breweries-
coming around to it. Even saying it out loud right now, it's just
It's like,
reinforcing it to me.
oh,
It's like, no, Rory came. It's like, but we could still dream, and maybe it's going to be a small system. It's more an
Yeah.
educational one, or one that
or you
does.
continue your contracting.
show
You
one.
have your own in-house kind of
Correct.
program.
Like,
And
Greenport did something really great. They
Right.
kept their little firehouse in Greenport, and
Yep.
they have OG series.
Yeah.
Wherever OG is being produced anymore, it's still Greenport. It
Right.
comes back from where they were,
and there's
and
plenty
they're
of
brewing
breweries
very close.
on Long Island that have smaller systems that fully support a local tasting room. I mean,
Correct.
you
Correct.
look at 27A; they're doing everything in house. He's got a 5 friggin' barrel system, and that's it. He's just
that's the upgrade.
and that's the upgrade, right? It's crazy, but they fully operational all day,
Yep.
every day. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, obviously there's an upside to that, but if you want to do the capacity that you're kind of accustomed to at this point, you probably continue the contracting, and then
we're wholly dependent on our partners.
Yeah.
and
I don't think they're going anywhere, to be honest with you. Fucking Uber Geek and
I don't think so.
Long
I think
Island and-
they're doing really well.
They're doing very, very well.
And I'm very lucky. And then I'm also lucky in the sense that we're 40 minutes east of Riverhead, and 40 minutes east of us is Montauk, and 2 ferries and 40 minutes north is Greenport. So we're in kind of a desert right now.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. It's like there's a lot of newcomers to beer who walk into our doors. And I
We haven't
invite you
taken
guys.
the trek to Montauk or back into Green
And they don't want
to
the lager,
Riverhead.
right?
Yeah, and there's
People
stuff
with
like
the
the lager,
lager.
right?
Yeah.
And we're just starting distribution locally.
Okay.
Like very locally, and a couple stops out because I was coming out here. It's like it was great.
Yeah.
But aside from that, the local market is more looking for a great place to hang out, and the beers and education.
Yes.
I never really thought I'd be educating people on beer.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, we're making really good beer that beer drinkers will seek out, and maybe we'll be that at some point, but predominantly since opening the doors, maybe lack of awareness, maybe because of our geography, probably a combination, is we've got new people coming to beer in Sag Harbor, and we're increasingly getting people who are seeking us out. whether
That's
they know
good, though,
about
'cause
beer or not.
You know, those people that are local, those are going to be the ones that primarily support your business, and you know, you can bring them along for the
On a
ride.
365,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, we've got kids in the school, and we got a lot of support locally. The public school
PTA fundraiser at the brewery.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I'm telling you right now, it works every time.
Yeah,
Now, many
makes
parents
sense.
need a couple of drinks after a full day of having kids around. I'm telling you,
All of them.
We do
All
it at
of them.
San City. Yeah, every last one.
Every single.
We did a fundraiser for the PTA in Lyndhurst at San City. We sold out tickets. They did a great little spread for us and gave us the space and offered like a one price. And then I think we did a trivia or something as well. But we've done a couple events there. It's a great place to do it. And just to have a brewery out there that, you know, like I said, the parents could come to and get
Right.
together as a community. It's a big deal. It really does help.
You have a. It seems like it's hard to tell, but you have looks like a decent outside area.
Yeah, it only looks like that.
So you guys really do some good photos then.
It's all Photoshop. No, you're right. There is a decent outdoor area that we benefit from, but it's
Yeah.
not technically ours. That's where. So
Is it the
property was-
Villages?
No, it's the garden. So the garden center. The building that we're in was the retail store for the garden center. The
Okay.
garden center is a garden center. It's mostly a large lot with plants.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a barn. The retail moved to the barn.
Okay.
The owners of the garden center retired. They're still the landlords. They split the property. Very smart. They split the property, leased out the
barn.
train station to me.
Oh, okay.
And then
they own
sold their
both of those.
business.
Okay.
Sold their business, retained the land, but sold their business to Lynette Rowe, who now runs the garden center. She's tremendous.
Okay.
She's great. She just started in March. And as we were going along, I was like, you know, well, especially like in May and June when I'm just like sitting around like drinking beer, watching her sell plants. I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if people could sit over there and buy plants and drink beer? And she's like, yeah, that would be really cool.
When I get my license, I'll give you a call.
Right. Can you call the governor?
While you're at it, call the SLA real quick.
Can you tell Cuomo to stop filling up state troopers and sign my license?
Sign my damn license. No, I mean, you come for the beer, you stay for the fountains. I mean, there's some beautiful greenery there.
Yeah.
You can sit amongst it,
Yeah,
right?
we call it a beer garden center.
I
We're
like
both
it.
open.
That's great.
Beer Garden Center.
How many people do come for both? There are actually people buying
we have to start quantifying it because
Yeah.
it feels like there's a lot, but you know we have to look at
Yeah.
the
God,
actual
if I had
math.
to go like shopping for fucking plants all day, I'd
Honey,
do
we're
it
going
too.
to the garden center.
Right?
Right.
Like,
There's a stereotypical like old school thinking of like the woman will go shop for
Yeah.
plants and the guy will get a beer.
Yeah.
You know, like we're
But
obviously
if you could do both,
we're
walk around with a goddamn cup of beer,
or
yeah,
maybe,
well, that's
or maybe the
more.
guy
That's-
wants to go look at some mulch and his wife wants to go have a glass of rosé.
because she had enough.
You're
of his
right
shit.
there with
enough of your shit.
or she's
Rosé
having
and
a
kombucha.
sanguine moon, which we're tasting now.
Which is delicious, by the way. I want
which
to
is
get in.
it's very approachable, and a lot of these ones are approachable for
Yeah,
that
it's
reason.
not over the top, you know, any direction. But I want to talk about your little squid.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I've been
a lot.
found that one had popped up a lot more on pages and people, you know, posting about that.
Oh,
Tell
cool.
us a little bit about Little Squid because, you know, obviously Kid Squid's the big name, but Little Squid is kind of like, oh, hey, check this little, like, to me, I think that's more of the entry level, even though it has more of the West Coasty feel.
Yeah.
It has that entry level, you know, like, get associated with IPAs, and here it is.
Yeah, it's a session, so it's
Yeah.
really low ABV. The first one we had was Baby Squid, and this is the second version,
Yep.
Little Squid.
Did you play that stupid Baby Shark song in the background the entire time?
I think we have an Instagram with a Baby Shark. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
You have to.
All right, we're done with this. The show's over. Get out.
Steve, can I just? We're also sponsored by
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark
Cocomelon.
Incorporated.
Coming to the Tillis Center live, it's Baby Shark on Ice.
Baby Shark on Ice.
That's not a bad idea.
Featuring Baby Squid.
Yeah. Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now,
But we've been using this new yeast from Omega. That's a thiolizing yeast, and we tried it first with the Barley Moon, which I have a bit of. Second with the Sanguine Moon, and then third with the Little Squid. So it's all the same yeast that we've been harvesting and reusing. And it's a thiolizing yeast. So like any of the thiol precursors, which have no taste or smell, that are apparently on everything, at least according to the marketing material. It's in the barley. It's in our.
That's just what they told me.
Yeah, this is what I've been. I'm just reading from the copy here. This yeast is able to turn into free thiols, which gives that tropical flavor, ostensibly without having to overly dry hop, which then you'd be able to make a more cost-effective
And your yield go up
fruity,
'cause you don't have.
fruity IPA. Exactly, and your yield goes up.
Yeah.
exactly. It's like
The
win-win,
color
win-win.
was there. You got all the elements
Right.
of it. It didn't drink like an overly fruited IPA.
Correct.
It was nice and
Yeah.
clean. So that was very good, and that's the one I really wanted to try. That was very, very good. So
That's
now
my
this
favorite so
the
far,
Second
actually.
Moon. This to me, after having that, then goes more on the fruity side. So you have, and I don't mean that, like
know
as
what
a
you mean.
bad thing. It means it's like it just steps it up a little bit. It's in New England. It has a little bit of the haze to it. It's got the color that maybe I think mentally brought me to more of an orangey flavor.
Right.
What went into this?
The color is predominantly just the mix of the New York State two-row, which just has a higher level.
Yeah.
It's it's just a more orangey, comes out more orangey. In fact, the Frosty Moon, not to jump around, but the Frosty
How
Moon.
many moons you got over there? You got a
So
barley
many-
moon?
so many moons.
This is what I was
So many
saying.
moons.
I was like, "You sure you're gonna?" I was like, "Yeah, we're doing it."
Yeah, let's do all the
every
moons.
moon.
It almost looks like Pokemon cards. You got to collect them all, right?
Yeah.
You got fire, earth,
the
wind,
idea.
water, heart. Wait, that's Captain Planet. I'm sorry. I'm
Where
quoting
the
him.
hell were you going?
I don't know. I don't know. I just noticed all these elements, and I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Pikachu moon.
Pikachu.
So for the Sanguine Moon, for the Barley Moon, which was the first with this new yeast, we didn't dry hop it because, we're doing like 8-barrel runs, but it's still kind of a test, and we knew enough that all right, this is a new yeast, but everything else is the same. It's going to be good, right? But if this material is correct, we don't need to dry hop it at all, and we didn't, and it was good. But it came out more like a clean IPA. You can taste it yourself. It comes out more like a clean IPA. So when we went to Sanguine Moon, it's like, all right, let's go back to the dry hop we used to do with the old yeast and Nottingham. I think we'd been using for the past couple of months before this Heliogazer yeast. And we're like, all right, we'll dry hop it like we did before. And dry hopping it, I think, with the Nelson Sauvin just gave more of the fruit. Plus, this is 6.0, this is 4.3.
Yep.
So there's a bit more sweetness anyway. And then the two-row.
I call it punch for lunch. Because if I'm on break and I need a good beer, a 6%er is right in my wheelhouse. Not enough to kind of make me not productive, but enough to kind of pick up my spirits. I'll put it that way. Picks up the spirits for the day. Gives a smile on my face. Like the Joker said. No?
Why so serious?
Why so serious? Yeah. Let's put a smile on that face.
Oh, right.
So, in looking at the lineup, we're kind of moving our way forward through these, more ABV beers.
Yeah.
Do you have it in your mind to kind
that
of,
time again.
I guess step by step move up through ABVs, or are you just trying to do and mess around with different profiles? What's the thought process for the Moon series?
No, we are. Just for tonight, we're stepping up with the ABV.
Yeah.
I have a double IPA here.
Jesus Christ.
And we have some darker beers. But no, with the IPA, it's been a double IPA, it's been a session, it's been an IPA.
So
And we've only been around for 3 months. We've been brewing
Which,
professionally
by the
since
way, and
early
maybe
May.
I speak for them as well, maybe I don't, but you have a portfolio for only being open for this amount of time that is extensive already. Like, it's hard to keep up how many beers you have.
We might not be able to keep it up.
Yeah.
We're just about keeping it up right now.
But is this
Set clear expectations.
But is this
Just to
the
answer you,
thought
Mike, yes, we're crazy.
Yeah,
This is not sustainable at all.
And that was our whole plan all the time.
Yes. But that's the key. Like, if you put out this many, let's see what really works, right? That's the thought. Let's throw out a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Let's see what the bigger ones are. Then we
Yeah.
can go back to the drawing board, really focus on those, knock those out, get those dialed in, and then we can work on the other ones and see where it goes.
Yeah, and part of this, to just be bluntly honest, is kind of like hindsight, kind of like backing into like what we're doing. So it's never really part of the plan. But what we've learned is the more we have to offer, especially to these newbie beer drinkers, and especially in Sag Harbor, drinking rosé, they're drinking cocktails. And they're drinking Modelo, It's and now they're drinking Kid Squid, and they've been drinking Montauk every now and then. Now they're drinking Kid Squid. And so the more we have to offer and the more I can have conversations similar to the ones we're having right now, maybe a little bit simpler, the better. And I feel like it's a buy-in first off. It's like people can actually like learn a little bit. It can reinforce me I'm learning too. And having that stuff on and also we invested 12 taps, so we have to have some stuff on 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You do. But
How many taps you got? 12. We got 2 beers, though.
right. That
The
looks
rest
bad.
are rosés.
Yeah, but you're running 9 right now, you said?
10.
10, right.
now.
So, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
so you don't have 2. Big deal. I mean,
Right.
you could just I'm just rotating things through or it's cleaning things out. But, I mean, again, with the number of varieties and labels you have already, it's an enormous portfolio in the first few months.
Do yourself a favor and make one of those taps a side pour.
Make it what?
Ooh.
A
The
side
Really?
pour.
You think that's going to catch on then?
It is unbelievable. You go anywhere that has a side pour,
That's what people are going with.
people are getting it.
Hopscotch.
I did not.
Hopscotch
I was
has
not
a
nuts
side
about it.
I go to Root and Branch at least once a week,
3
Yeah.
times a week.
and
Still haven't got into
right
it.
right
guys
off
are killing
right
it.
You
off
still
the bat,
haven't been there? I know.
right
We'll
off the
go-
bat,
we'll-
the
we'll
guys
plan
are
a
like,
day.
"You want to start with
You
the side pour?"
I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Just give me the goddamn invisible man. Give me the invisible man, for Christ's sake. Double IPA, let's make it happen.
like it.
Yeah. So thinking about the Moon series, do you have something already on schedule for the next one? What's the?
Yeah, tomorrow we're actually brewing Long Night Moon, which is the December moon.
Jesus.
And yeah,
Again, another label. Put it on the portfolio.
We actually
So is that-
didn't have it on this, but now it's like volume 1, cycle 11, because this
Oh,
is the
really?
November. Yeah. So we'll have cycle 12,
That's
and then
pretty cool.
Then it'll become volume 2 starting in January with the Wolf Moon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that keeps people. See, that's the engagement that I think people look for.
I think
They-
over time.
Yeah.
Over
I
time.
mean-
Right now, it's not really there. I'll be totally honest with you. And it all kind of feels a little bit like a gimmick, again, to be totally honest.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
Gimmicks
Yeah.
sell
work.
product.
They work. The marketing aspect of that works because
Well, the
I
thing
feel
is,
like
the full moon, it's more gravity.
yeah.
So
Oh my God, this guy, the tides and such.
pulls the yeast up. I mean, Steve knows this.
Do you-
Adjuncts, baby.
It is off-putting, you're right.
It is off-putting, yeah. So
I like that because I'm a
Steve.
collector. Like I've collected a bunch of Steve's beers over the years. I have like a single can just sitting. Like just to say, I have most of his later year beers. If I was able to get this in a store, and I would look for volume and cycle, I would look for when it came out and what it was. That's something that I think people in the craft beer industry, as they start to turn and go into that, they'll look for. So that's a great idea. Let's talk about this. This is Frosty Moon.
Frosty Moon.
It looks a little different, so we're not that orangey color, right?
Yeah,
and by the way, I really like the fact that you match the label to the look of the beer. Same thing here
I
with the Frosty
I
Moon.
wish I could say that was on purpose.
But man, what a
worked out.
not a mishap,
Yeah.
but like just a coincidence. And the clarity of a lot of your beers, I do like. I like it's not fully clear, but it's not completely haze.
Right. I think the haze market is oversaturated, to be totally
It's
honest.
pretty fucking saturated.
But every time people think that, it just keeps going.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like
It's not going. I mean,
Challenge accepted.
But I do like that a bunch of breweries are now kind of reverting. Every so often I'll be somewhere and it's like, oh yeah, we got this nice West Coast.
Right.
I'm like,
yes. What? Pete doesn't like them.
I'm still like,
love 'em.
no, there's. No, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
never mind.
you're all right.
all
But
I
it-
know
it-
is I had the most delectable Schwarz beer from Root and Branch. That was just,
in the 3
God
times you
damn it,
went
I
last
wanted
week.
that one. I know. I can't get fucking.
it
down
was on tap for like 2 days.
But that's okay. So
How was
here's
it? Was it delicious?
It's a great
It was-
example. Here's a brewery that isn't traditionally known for lagers or Schwartz beers or browns or porters or anything like that. And then they come out with the Schwartz beer, and I didn't have it either.
That near Oktoberfest was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you
What
kind
was
of
their Oktoberfest? It's like a Marzen.
It was Morrison.
yeah, it just bucking the system or kind of just flipping it on people. People are so I guess
They just released their Robust Porter too. That
Did
was
they?
Fucking
well,
awesome.
they have good dark beers.
Those guys are killing it,
Oh, dude.
right?
And so, you're so trained to go in there and go, okay, IPA, double IPA, triple IPA. When you go in there and go Marzen, Porter, Lager, you're like, holy shit, what happened here?
I usually always start out with either the Czech pills or the
Czech Bills is good.
or the wit, and it's just so.
Yeah,
crisp,
and
crisp.
that's the thing is
the key.
they're converting. That's what it is. So for Kid Squid, for Rory, what he's doing is he's introducing lagers, introducing session IPAs that are approachable, and then coming in with some of the other elements.
How's the response been for the Goza?
Sadly, it's a new market for sours. So much so that we have to it's a sour, and if they're like, "What's a sour?" It starts with when they say, "I'll have a Gossi,"
I'm like, the goose.
That's a sour beer.
I had the goose.
And and they're like, "What's a sour beer?" And I'm like, why don't you have that before you leave?
I'll give you a taste before you.
Yeah, give you a taste, but not right now. It hasn't been doing that well.
Let's run up that tab a little bit first.
We're gonna keep doing it. I mean, we're doing that was a collaboration, which is interesting because we're doing a collaboration with our host brewery. But whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That seems like it would make a lot of sense, actually.
Makes
Like,
all the
why
sense in the world
wouldn't
to
you?
me. Yeah. North Fork and Kid Squid, we're doing another collaboration which should come out in mid-December, and it's an imperial fruited sour.
Oh, shit!
we're trying to reach like 7%.
7.7%. No.
Just don't ship it over
7.9.
over the mail.
Keep it cold.
Keep it cold as shit.
Keep them cold, bitches. Keep them cold.
They turn into hand grenades. We've heard about that one.
Yeah,
But
we've had a re-ferment once already. Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy.
It happens.
Yeah.
Did it end up?
That was
on
all
the
my
floor?
fault. Long story.
Yeah, you live and learn. Yeah.
Well, we got a good 10 minutes. So what do we got?
Shit, I remember taking cans
Yeah.
that we had done,
Yeah.
and they were so tight, and we would throw them in the parking lot, and as soon as they hit, they would take off like missiles.
It's a
we
great
don't,
game.
we don't
Everybody
go
has to
scatter.
run.
Yeah, everybody go,
Steve doesn't shoot off fireworks on
No,
the 4th of July. He just throws his
fruited sours.
sours
fruited sours
into the
from
street.
450 North.
People go out. They're taking fireworks shells off their roof, and guess what? People are taking barrage beers off their roof. Okay, you guys are totally distracting me.
because it's the
So-
It's the
Sagco.
October.
Just to finish the Frosty in the series.
Yeah. So
So
talk
it goes
to me
from
about that.
Sanguine to Frosty.
Yeah.
Again, all the same thing. We changed the grain bill to entirely New York State Pilsen. And it's a lot lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot lighter in color,
Which
sure.
which we knew from Beersmith, but seeing it happen, it was like, oh, that's great.
Thank you, Beersmith.
Yeah, Beersmith.
Sponsored by.
Sponsored by Beersmith.
And then we double dry hopped it, so it was Nelson Sauvon, just like the Sanguine, and then
like
we
Nelson.
did another 4 pounds.
But
on
I
the
like
barrels of-
Nelson when it's balanced like this. And again, not hating on the Nelson hop. If it's
Don't you hate on that?
I so traditionally on this show, people know it's not my favorite hop.
Yeah, you said it all the time.
I know, I
but
do.
you will drink it.
I will drink the shit out of it.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, this is the balance that I'm looking for. This is the word. This is the balance that I'm looking for. It's not over Nelson. I know Nelson, everything is good, and people love that hop. I like it in a balance. When you bring it out in this subtle way, it elevates the beer. When it's over Nelson, not my favorite.
Over Nelson.
So when you did the 1940s
So when you get
collab,
when you
Full
get the,
Nelson.
you
Full
get a full
Nelson.
Nelson.
in the
And then a half a
1940s
Nelson.
collab that you weren't liking the level of Nelson that you wanted, I liked it because it wasn't overly Nelson. And that was the balance that I liked.
Just a half Nelson.
Same thing. Yeah, just a half Nelson. Yeah, just
It
a
was,
half. You're in the half chicken wing. That's all it was.
For us with the Sanguine, since Nelson was the only dry hop, it was really the yeast.
Yeah.
It was the thiol stuff that I was talking about earlier. It was really like the amount of grapefruit that was pulled out by the yeast and then complemented by the Nelson.
Yes.
And so Frosty was like another experiment. It was, all right, we'll do the same thing as Sanguine, except now we're going to dump Citra 3 days before packaging.
Which is perfect. I love Citra.
Yeah, and
Citra you can.
so between the grain bill change and the addition of another dry hop, it came out. I'm happy with it.
As you should be.
Thanks.
Yes. Really quick, I want to talk about a couple of things before we let you go. We got some time here. Let's talk a little bit about what the future is going to bring. So, you're very young in the scene. you are obviously kind of actively seeking what the future may bring in regards to maybe a satellite, brewery, something probably off-site, obviously because of the village and what their laws allow you to. If you had to kind of like, if you were just dropped, financial freedom tomorrow, what would be your goal? You're looking for something relatively close. What would be the areas you're looking at? And then what would be like the plan of action? What would you go through to kind of make that happen?
So if money was not an object?
Correct.
He would quit brewing and just fucking live the good life.
He'd buy Gardener's Island.
So I have all the money. Is that what you're saying?
All of the monies.
No, I mean within reason. With the farm brewery license, you're allowed 5 branches. So we have the ability, relatively simply, from the license standpoint, to open up other outposts,
Which should be pretty cool to have, 1 or 2 more in and around that South Fork area, so people, because it's such a.
We've looked at a bunch of different kind of models, and again, all of this is like plus 2 years. I mean, it's not anytime soon. But we've looked at models from smaller outposts in the same region to going upstate, somewhere near Hudson. And
Just like Dubco.
I was to say the Dubco model.
And
none of this is new. There's no new ideas, but that's an idea. I would love to, again, with money not an object, I'd love to have an outpost in Europe and showcase.
Wow.
Showcase.
Oh, well, you do have the roots there too.
And some of the land. Which
Let's
I just have no idea about the
Let's
law
have
over
you
there.
match up with Bobby from Barrier, because Bobby is
The world traveling man.
world
that he
traveling
is.
man. They actually sell Barrier over in England.
Yep.
He's done so much, let's say, foreign relations.
I believe it's there. They're in Brussels.
Yep.
They're in like
Yeah,
several.
it's just
It's amazing.
bananas.
Prague.
I did not know that, but I
if-
don't doubt it for a second.
If you're an
Those
American,
guys
you go
are great.
overseas and you see Barrier on tap, you're like, I shouldn't have this, but
But
I
I'm
think
going
I have to.
so I can take a picture of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Here's me and money.
You know what's crazy? A buddy of mine lives in Japan. He's been there for like over 30 years,
Bobby's been there too.
and he says the demand for
Craft.
American IPAs.
Yeah,
they will pay anything.
they
for
lose
it.
their shit over.
Yeah.
it.
West Coast, East Coast.
Doesn't
Doesn't
all the
matter.
things.
It's the new.
It started as West Coast,
I'm sure.
and now it's all
it's
hazy
just
boy.
America, right?
I'm sure, like
It's the new
Sierra-
blue jeans.
Sierra
Yeah,
Nevada's
exactly.
made their way over there. They have to. I mean, they're on that West Coast. They are a huge brand. They can afford some, out of the box ventures.
Didn't
They've got to be
Brooklyn
one.
Brewery open up in Stockholm?
Yes.
Yeah,
They did,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
It's like Carnegie something, right?
Yeah, it was a
It's like a-
collaboration.
Yeah.
Who the hell was? Yeah, because Garrett Oliver was there, like setting up the whole project for like a good year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible job to have. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was
God.
over in
Oh, I'm
Stockholm.
the
and
head
I was like, Brooklyn Brewery. What? What?
Right, of
Yeah.
all things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll have a Brooklyn. Wait, what?
Yeah. I was like on my way to Omnipolo, and then I was like, wait, Brooklyn Brewery's here too?
Hold on a second. I remember I've told the story. I was in Bermuda. I'm in Bermuda, and they have Brooklyn Summer on tap. I'm like, yup.
Sold.
Sold to the
I don't want whatever the Bermuda beer is. I want the Brooklyn Summer on the beach in Bermuda, and there it is. Aruba's another one of
wrong
those.
with Bermuda beer.
Aruba's now been taking in some of the craft beers. I think they have Goose Island in Aruba. And there was one other I remember seeing. But, I mean, it's mostly Balashi. I mean, that's what their local beer is. But when you want something outside of just a crisp lager or a Pilsner or whatever Balashi is, I think they do both.
Well, it's Dutch.
Yeah. Well, but either way, it's still that. It's still they have, just that reach. Some of these breweries have the ability with some extra cash to go out there and do it. That's a great venture. That would be an amazing thing to see Kid Squid sitting there.
I was in Florida and I had Blue Point, and
Yeah.
that blew me away. I can't imagine the feeling if, like, I went to fucking Prague and I saw Barrier money.
Money on tap.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean this was.
That would blow my
this
mind.
You
was-
shouldn't, but you
this was
do.
13 years ago, somewhere around there.
13 years ago.
I'm in Ohio, and toasted lager. It
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. That would.
It just blew my head. I'm like, wait a minute.
Here? Like,
Wait a minute. I used to get toasted lager like fresh in a growler
Yeah.
from a tasting room, and now it's in Ohio. What the hell is going on here?
The hell?
Now it's everywhere. Yeah. When I went to San Francisco, there was toasted lager and whatever the hell else. I'm like, I had it. Get out of here.
Every single cruise ship, they have all those contracts, and that's a hard one to get into. Obviously, it's the ability to kind of distribute to the big major distribution companies that just go everywhere.
It's like anything, like stadiums.
Yeah.
Football stadium, baseball, coliseums, all that. You are cutting your product's price point so low.
Yeah.
I want to see Kid Squid at the
just to get
Riverhead
it in
Raceway. That's what I want to see.
Raceway.
Riverhead with the big Indian and
Let me write that down.
That
write that down. We put that in a book. It's right there.
Riverhead Raceway, and unfortunately, there isn't any of those big stadiums out there. That's pretty much what's out there, right? I mean, thinking about it, no major venues.
Until they put that big
On the wrong
indoor whatever.
Jake's 58
range,
is as close as I could think of.
No, they're supposedly putting an indoor.
Well, wait, there's the
Weren't
outdoor.
they trying to do something in Ronkonkoma?
No, the
No, in Calverton, there's
year-round surf.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
indoor surf.
No, it's not indoor. It's outdoor, but it's not year-round. It's like
It's a wave
9
pool,
months
right?
out of
Yeah, it's
12.
like the big. Well, if you ever see the guys like with the wakeboards.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
standing wave.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually this wave, and it produces
Generates.
every so many.
Yeah. That looked cool. They were offering up, monthly subscriptions and stuff like that. I think it was, a couple $100 a month, but then you could surf year-round. But I don't know if it was year-round. Like January,
That's why I
February is
think
a
one-
tough time to go
I
surf.
think
Like
one
a
of them
20
was
mil
indoor.
Yeah.
What's-
Was it?
Yeah, and it was going to be wakeboard, indoor wakeboard.
They might have had it 50-50 or something like that. But yeah, I remember seeing it. I remember actually literally thinking about it because they were offering it out, memberships at a
By the way-
relatively good price.
If you can do collabs, do them.
Yeah.
It just gets your name out there.
I'm down to do a collab with anyone.
Especially since you got
Anyone and everyone.
North Fork.
Yeah.
Good. They'll have that product on tap. They'll have it. They'll put it places. It'll be, people can buy it. They'll look at the can and go, "Who the fuck's Kid Squid? I don't know."
Right.
Of course, you are relatively
No,
new.
they are all saying that. Who the fuck
And
is Kid Squid?
oh, well, no.
They're definitely saying that.
You'll
right
be
now.
open 10. You'll be open 10 years and to go. I live down the block.
fuck?
When did you guys open?
Yeah. No,
Well, let's see. My son's in college, and
they say that. They say that right now.
So the big thing is, trying to get that second location, maybe possibly a brewing separate setup. What do you have though, like short term? I know I'm not Newsday or Doug and trying to get squeezing the information out of you, but what do you have planned within
Doug,
the next
Doug
month?
Geed squeezed him.
Maybe I don't know. I can't.
Man, that guy. I knew he
I don't
was
know.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Doug, you did not squeeze me. He's a very nice gentleman.
But
He's a very nice man.
What a nice guy.
They haven't
No,
answered.
he is a really nice guy, honest to God.
Well, they haven't done a thing on the Wort, but that's okay. That's all right. We'll take the
They
best
should.
of best
They
of
should.
Long Island 2022. That will take. Ooh.
It's the Sagtoberfest.
Nice.
It's not a Marzen. It's a toasted lager technically. Yeah.
Ooh. I gotta finish this. Let me taste that. Yeah.
It has aromas of like almost a brown ale.
Was going to be.
Yep.
Yeah, but now you're not.
Yeah. Sagtoberfest is a better name than Mr. Brown. But that was the other.
Or what was the name of the one that they did? They were from Kentucky. They Against the Grain did like the
The brown note.
brown note, and it's just a guy in his underpants with streak
a big
marks.
brown streak.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh my! But they sold the shit out of that. That
Of
was
course.
a great beer.
No, it was a really.
Oh my God! How do you do? You got to be a good brewery, good liquid, for someone to go. I want the guy with the underpants and the
Yeah.
doo doo stain on it, and I'll take that.
And you have to have a lot of confidence to
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
put that
exactly.
can out.
Well,
Yeah.
well, just hoof-hearted.
yeah.
When you hoof-hearted. Oh, wait. If you say it quick, wait. Oh, those guys are so funny.
Yeah.
Who farted?
Oh, got
Yeah.
it. Nice.
Good one.
Nice.
I don't think anyone's really picked that up. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
I mean, I did, but I don't know how many people actually did.
Multi-delicious.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go for it. So that's the next step. What's coming up in the near
the near-
future?
yeah,
What do
the
you
near
like?
future.
Events, things you got going on?
Yeah, so we started live music a little bit. We discussed a little bit.
yeah.
Bastards.
Oh
Can
wait,
we-
did I
can we
say we
say-
started live? We did not start.
We
live.
did not do that. It was just all
F
pre-recorded.
ASCAP. We'll say
But
that.
I have to say, the Village again. It was a little bit. There's arcane laws. Anytime you get super small and super old, like Sag Harbor Village, there's arcane laws. There's some noise restrictions that I didn't really know the legality from the Village side. But again, once again, they were just really helpful. I wasn't trying to do like 3 a.m.
No raves at kids.
Raves, exactly. I wasn't trying to let's stay open all night. Let's do this all night.
Bro, let's go.
I heard still in one of the bylaws you can't burn witches after 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So
Sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Except on Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
except and the Sabbath.
And you're only allowed to butcher 2 whales on your own property a year.
whales a
Can you believe
year.
it? A year.
Hand them. How are you going to survive?
Yeah.
God.
So-
Someone
I need
bring
that
a
whale
libertarian
oil.
party into Sag Harbor, for God's sakes.
But as we said earlier, you could beat the hell out of all the baby seals you want.
Yeah.
You could
Fuck them seals.
You could club them to death.
But
Well, how do you think they make the clubs? Whale blubber.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hardened whale blubber.
there you go. It's the circle of life.
And I heard also that if you buy 2 beers, you get 3 pieces of wampum in return.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Womp 'em.
These are certain laws. I'm not kidding. There's still like wampum. The word wampum is still used in some laws on Long Island. There's
I
still
don't
some.
doubt that for a
you,
second.
you don't have any wampum?
I don't have
a,
any, no,
I have a fucking shit ton.
you
I
get
can't get rid of it.
your kids when they were growing up, they just collected all the shells
All
off the
the
beach,
wampum.
and that
All
was
the wampum you could get.
the thing to trade off. See, I know a little bit of Long Island geography, but not all
We'll,
that
we'll
history.
be doing live music, all legit, and the village is down.
When are you
And,
guys bringing whaling back to Sag Harbor? Is there going to be
So you
a
can
whale,
really get Greenpeace against you.
a whale
we're
butchering
looking into that,
class?
Pete. Well, honestly, like if we can get to a place where we've been supporting like local charities, like where we could, especially when I had too much beer and we weren't open yet.
Hey, just
Like,
give them away.
Ukraine, Alex, yeah,
Give it-
homeless
give it-
shelters, sure,
yes.
yeah, anything.
Are
But
the homeless children drinking this?
yeah,
Hold on a
sorry, did I say
Cases to
that?
the homeless children.
I didn't mean
They're
that.
thirsty.
But
You're so glad you came on the show.
Yes.
didn't you?
no, this is a lot of fun. But the Sea Shepherd is one that we would like to support
yes.
if we get to a place.
Love the Sea Shepherd. I love Whale Wars.
Yeah,
love
exactly.
that show.
But ever since I watched Whale Wars, I've
Yeah.
been fascinated with it, and
I-
we do give. But I'd love to do something like more official.
What
but
are you going to say?
Yeah.
That's the South Park episode where they do the whale wars.
Do they?
It was fucking hilarious.
Oh, you know what? I have to see that.
Are they
again.
still? Are they still
They do.
doing?
Cartman sings fucking Poker Face.
Yep.
It's a
Oh, I
fucking
do
brilliant
remember that one.
episode
Yeah.
where they go after the Japanese for eating like whales and dolphins.
Yes.
Oh my god. It's
Are they still doing? Now,
Brilliant
the
fucking
show is
episode.
off the air, but are they
Shows
still
up the air, but
going?
the organization is very
Still
much
going,
alive,
okay.
and they have like projects around the world. Like one of their, like I
and
can't
it
remember
wasn't one of
the
their
name.
boats named after Bob Barker.
Bob Barker,
either
that's
Bob
right?
Barker.
The SS Bob Barker.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's
It's like
fantastic.
Rams boats, like sinks boats.
Save the whale. Kill everybody else.
Exactly.
Save the whale, damn it.
But no, they have projects around, so it's not just like there's whales, but then there's I can't remember the name. It's like Viquina, like the smallest seal or dolphin.
Well,
or
in
something.
Japan, they
it's in the
still
Baja
do-
Peninsula in like Mexico. It's like that's one of their major projects. There's like 5 left, so
Holy
they're
shit.
really trying to save them.
mean-
This is sponsored by
Yeah, Whale Wars.
Sea
Whale
Shepherd-
Wars.
Whale
That's
Wars.
by the Sea Shepherd
Whale
Institute.
Wars. Now streaming on Discovery.
Discovery on Demand. It's Discovery
On
Plus.
demand, yeah.
Discovery on Demand.
Gotta get it. Discovery Plus.
I love that show. That was one of the ones my wife and I watched all the time, every week. I don't know what it was. It was something about just one of the
Whales.
things. So as
So
audio,
it's modern day piracy. That's
Yes.
why it makes sense with Kid Squid.
it did.
Sag Harbor was a whaling town. This is like a nice coda to the whole.
It's a
whaling
nice
thing.
segueing.
Yeah.
It's
Seguin.
yeah.
Seguin,
I don't know if that's
no.
the right word, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
And drinking your beers.
Fair enough. You can say whatever you want. But sorry, we're doing music, and then the one other thing we are going to show the World Cup.
Oh,
So
nice.
There's
Okay.
a very decent expat community.
So this is
out-
not New Jersey,
This is not New Jersey.
meaning we can show
Yeah.
things
Oh, yeah,
that are
yeah,
not
yeah.
events.
Holy
Oh my God,
shit.
they're still fighting that. By the way, no matter how many people they vote in and out of
Oh,
office.
right. That was recent.
Yo,
That's
dude, it's
insane.
still going on.
Poor
It's insane.
bastards.
It's still going on.
That's
It's just
insane.
ridiculous.
That's insane.
But that's great. I mean, that's people.
Or if you're a restaurant owner, effective lobbying.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
there's
it
2 sides of the coin, right?
Jeez. That's great. That's have those events. Have people come down.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a big screen TV? You have a.
We have
projector?
we have a projector that has our menu.
There you go.
Yeah,
you go.
and it's it was actually funny. It was like while we were waiting to open, I was like, we were sitting there one day and we're like, we were gonna show like David Bowie videos and stuff
Yeah.
like that, just something to match the environment. Just kind of have something cool. And then I was like, we have no space for the menu.
Yeah.
It's like it's a projector and then a mural and the taps. And I was like, oh, and It's like, oh yeah, we can project the menu. So
Whoops.
that's what we do. Now we're projecting the menu.
Let's
but
get that PDF loaded in there, and we're good to go.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what happens.
good.
It's like export PDF, set as background.
Yeah.
Screen number 2, mirror screen 2. Yeah, that's exactly right. And, so we'll turn that into the World Cup, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Print out the menu or something for
a great
a
idea.
month. Yeah.
with that.
What? So you have the beer coming up tomorrow?
We have a brewing tomorrow.
Brewing tomorrow.
And then brewing again on Friday for a Christmas
Jesus
beer,
Christ,
which
yeah.
it's not Christmas. It's going to be a winter spiced
Holiday,
strong.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to last past Christmas. I cannot label it Christmas.
No, do not pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, no, I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah,
but,
winter warmer.
Yeah,
To go on.
it's like how you like Insectober.
Seasonal warmer.
But no, we're gonna call it Snowy Owl, and it's a spice strong ale. Again, like none of
you
these
go.
beers are like going too far out of the fold. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a strong ale, 7.7% with spices.
You're going to get you fucked up.
Definitely some cardamom.
Get you
Yeah,
fucked.
it's gonna get you fucked up.
Drink
Yeah,
fine.
Definitely
that.
gotta have cardamom though.
Gotta have that.
There's going to be cardamom in there for sure.
Rory,
I know
we're
that.
really excited to see what you have coming up. We're going to be following your progress throughout the time and giving you shit when things don't work out the right way, for sure. Especially when some whale reference doesn't.
When whales has beached themselves,
I mean,
and they find the cans all jammed in his friggin' no.
I'm waiting for the whale butchering
the
class.
sticker
personally.
over the blowhole.
Look at that. Really, thank you for taking the trip out today. I'm glad everything worked out, and
Yeah.
we had you on.
This is a drive. Thank you.
The beers that
Yeah,
were
bro.
awesome. Everything was excellent. We had a great time. Thank you very much. Give us a big plug on where people can find you, get information about the tap room and everything else.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you guys. Honestly, you guys are tremendous for the industry as a whole. I'm so new. I can't
thank
really
you.
represent it or speak for it, but
You're in it.
I can
You're
a little
in it.
bit. Like I know it. So you guys are doing a great job. So thanks very much.
Trying.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me. Third time's the charm.
Wait, I thought you were canceling today.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is this really happening? We're at kidsquid.com. Most of our updates right now are on Instagram. I have no idea if it's on Facebook.
Are you managing that? Wife managing that? Who's managing that?
It's a team, but it's mainly my wife.
Yeah, she's doing a great job.
It's
By the way,
the
she
royal
did.
team. Yeah, she's doing.
Rory's
a hell of a
wife
job.
is doing a great job
That's
on the
Grania
pictures.
Cohen. Yeah.
It's representing
Yeah.
your tasting room very well. It's representing the beer very well.
Oh, and like models show up to his place too.
I saw.
They do.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
You never know who's
by the
going
hand.
to
You never
show
know
up.
who
Yeah.
you never know who's going to show up at Kids
Never
Squid.
show up. So
Yeah,
hang
no,
out
there's
there.
a couple local celebrities, national celebrities that are local as
Yeah.
well. It's really nice. It's nice to see. And then there's just people who are come on in.
Oh,
Everyday Joes.
everyday Joes that just
Looking
want
to
that
have a
lager.
pint.
Having a
With
good
that
time.
lager.
Yeah.
Go to
Ordering Gossies.
Right, absolutely. Go to Kid Squid Brewing Co. on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter. Just go ahead and Google search them because Google's a thing, just so everyone knows.
Really?
Yeah.
Google.
And of course, anything tasting room hours. What was the?
We're closed Mondays, Tuesday. Well,
Yeah.
actually, we'll be open through the holidays starting next week.
Okay.
But generally, we're closed Monday, Tuesday. We're going to try to be all year round, 365.
Are you doing gift cards, Christmas?
Figuring out the
swag,
gift
stuff
cards.
Like that, yeah.
We're going to do gift cards.
It's that POS thing again.
I think
He's going to write it on a piece of paper. Here you go.
I owe you.
$50.
You're only the 100th person who's asked me when we're doing gift cards.
Yeah.
We will be doing it very soon, and we will have an online store coming up imminently.
Yeah.
We'll do that, and then we're also doing distribution starting soon. We're going to be in more places further afield.
And your logo's fantastic. So to have
thanks.
that on swag and stuff like that, it's people are
And
going
if
to
you
want it.
need to know anything about merch, just
Yeah.
reach out to the guys at Jones Beach Brewing Company, and they will set you guys, if you're listening,
Yeah.
hope you are, and
Yeah.
you're laughing right now.
Oh, Jesus.
I rib them all the time. They
Yeah.
have great merch,
Yeah. I mean, they were a merch company before they were a brewery.
like years before
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
in the brewing company.
an amazing marketing plan. And I don't want to call it a scheme, but it was a plan.
Oh, they are schemers.
Oh, yes, it's a scheme. Okay. I really appreciate you for being on, man. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Thanks very much,
This
guys.
is the Word with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GubsRadio.com. Go ahead and check us out on all of our platforms. We're going to be live. Well, not live, but we're going to be having this show on our Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and of course, we're always on the Hopped Up
Hopped Up
Network. We will have the video up on YouTube. That's where I was going to go with that. And
Twitch?
Some days. No, eventually we'll be on Twitch, but not right now. No, we're not streaming live to Twitch just yet. But, of course, it's going to be on our Facebook. It's going to be on our YouTube, on the Gubs Comedy Club radio podcast. And, again, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
Thanks.
This is the Word with Mike Pete and Steve, GubsRadio.com. Steve, last words for fun?
If you club a baby seal,
Oh, my God.
scream
When would the
obscenities at it.
Yeah, I used to say club baby seals in high school. I don't know why. It was just a thing to say, but I've recently, after watching Sea Shepherd, feel very bad for them baby seals. But you know what?
No, my parting words are fuck them seals. They deserve it.
And then spay neuter them.
Yeah. This is the Word with Mike Pete and Steve, GubsRadio.com, and we out.
Well, that's 2 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
Are you kidding me?
Please hang up and try again.
This has been The Wort on Gubs Radio.